Hello and welcome everyone to the UFC Fight Night Overeem versus Volkov Virtual Media Day. As a reminder, this is being recorded. We'll kick things off now with number 6 ranked UFC heavyweight Alexandre Volkov. We'll take our first set of questions from Jay Anderson with Gateside Press.
Hey, Alexander, welcome back. Obviously this is a big fight. Alistair Overeem, I mean, you faced a lot of big names, former champion Fabricio Verdum, but where does this rank? Is Overeem the biggest fight of your career?
Yes, it's a big fight for me. I really excited about this. That I meet him in octagon, so it will be a big challenge for me. We will see how it will go.
And I mean, just talk about the matchup a little. I mean, everyone kind of knows what Overeem brings to the table, but how do you see this fight playing out?
I will see because we both like striking and working stand up, but maybe somebody of us will trying to make takedowns or something. But I hope this will be a tactical fight on the stand up.
Obviously, the goal for both of you is the title, but what does a win over Alistair mean at this point? Do you think a big performance could maybe have you jump the line a little?
This fight means for me a lot, and I hope that this win put me back in the belt to the belt run and everything. But first of all, I'm just thinking about this fight, about fight with Overeem, with a big name, with a legend, and I'm feeling he's in really good shape right now. So I just wanted to challenge him February 6th, and we will see what we will do next.
You talked about, returning to that title picture, the title shot, and you were arguably seconds away from a title shot in the Derek Lewis fight. Is that a moment that motivates you, that you think about a lot?
I don't really think about this a lot because I'm feeling that my time will be in future. So I'm feeling that I'm growing with the fights. I became better and better with every camp. So and I think that I can get this belt in future. So I I'm feeling this is okay with this loss, but nothing more.
And last one for me, I mean, when we talk about the future, the heavyweight division feels like it's gaining a lot of momentum. Do you see that? I mean, we've had a lot of heavyweight fights announced. You're headlining Lewis versus Blades, Gagne versus Jair, of course, the title fight. Is it exciting to be a heavyweight right now?
Yes, it's mm, uh, it's very much good fights, very close. A lot of fighters, a lot of big guys who can challenge the title. So it's a good time to be there in UFC right now. So I love it.
All right. Well, thanks very much, and best of luck this
Thank
Saturday.
you. Thank you so much.
We'll take our next set of questions from Sumik Data with Sports Guida.
Alexander, hope you're doing well.
Hi.
So the last time you fought in the smaller octagon in the Apex, things obviously didn't go your way against Curtis Blades. Since that fight, did you have to make any significant adjustments to your game, to your style maybe, in preparation for fighting in the smaller cage?
And I'm trying to get better and better with every camps I did. So of course, sure, we have some changes. We are working on some moments in my style in my camps. I became bigger and because more stronger. I'm now working a lot with the wrestle skills. I'm doing a lot of new things in my camp, so I'm feeling like I'm growing up with my camps and fights.
So, Jon Jones has made his jump to the heavyweight division, and he's right in the mix at the top of the division. I just want to get your thoughts on how you think he fares in the heavyweight division in the long run, and if you would possibly be open to fighting him in the future.
Yeah. I'm feeling that the thing that he comes to heavyweight is a good because he's a legend fighter. He one of the best fighter in UFC, and the thing that Bones come to heavyweight that make our division much interested, and all of us can challenge him in the future. And of course, I will be excited to challenge him in future too.
So, your opponent for this weekend, Alistair Overeem, has mentioned that this will be his final run for the shot at the title. Do you believe with a win over him, you could hamper his chances of getting the title fight and maybe put yourself in position to get that title shot instead?
Okay, of course I believe in this, but first of all, I'm just thinking about this fight, about to win him, and this is the main thing I thinking right now. Of course, in future, in a way, after this win, I want to fight for the belt or to be close to the belt. But right now, I'm thinking just about this fight.
So, last question that I had. You recently spoke about your back tattoo, which took 60 hours to get done. Could you possibly tell us why you decided to get a samurai helmet, what the tattoo signifies, and what it means to you?
I can tell a lot about this, but I think it was some kind of thing that I do, like emotional thing. So I just I want to make it, and I did. So it's things that shows that how I want to show to introduce to introduce me in octagon.
Well, thank you for your time, Alexander, and good luck for your fight this weekend.
Thank you so much.
We'll take our next questions from Nikita Gorshinin with Sport Express.
Саша, добрый день.
Добрый.
Саша, Никита Горшенин, Кушатайка, Спортэкспресс. Такой вопрос. Заур Курбанов, автор книги о Хабибе, говорил, что Абдулманап Нурмагомедов предупреждал тебя вот об этом ударе Дерека Льюиса, этой ситуации. И когда вот произошел этот нокаут, ему вызвали скорую, то есть ему стало плохо. Ты можешь вспомнить, действительно ли был у тебя такой разговор с Абдулманапом в Москве, это было на UFC Москву? И вообще можешь вспомнить вот последнее общение с ним?
Последний раз мы с ним общались, когда я подрался как раз на UFC, именно в Москве, и дрался да, именно с Харди. Мы с ним общались в отеле. Вот, он был немножко огорчен из-за того, что какие-то ребята из его команды проиграли. Вот, но, в принципе, общение с ним было очень теплое. Он поздравил меня с победой. Как бы, мы с ним, в принципе, общались очень хорошо. Вот, а по поводу Дерека Льюиса, в принципе, он говорил в общие вещи о том, что мне нужно быть с ним осторожным, но конкретно один удар его очень сложно предсказать и о нем сказать, естественно. Вот, но я, в принципе, это и сам прекрасно понимал, и был весь поединок осторожен, но, к сожалению, это тяжелый вес, и что-то может пойти не так. В любом случае, сделать свои выводы, и это подтолкнуло меня развиваться еще больше.
Саша, у тебя есть вот эта уникальная способность протыкать блок. То есть даже вот взять первый раунд с Вердумом, вроде у тебя вообще практически не было шансов для хороших атак, но ты успел его посечь очень серьезно. Вот это твоя способность протыкать блок, находить вот эти тонкие входы, это откуда у тебя идет? Ты успеваешь подумать или это на инстинктах, на технике идет вот поставленные удары?
Это, наверное, получается случайно, просто мне везет. Но на самом деле Я вышел с карате, и в карате, в принципе, очень острые удары более именно жесткие, потому что мы привыкли работать голыми руками, а не в больших перчатках. И думаю, что именно эти удары, такой стиль ударов, который может и посечь, и нанести какой-то такой и внешний урон, он идет, наверное, скорее всего, именно из техники ударов карате. Не то, чтобы она как-то отличалась от боксерской, просто мы привыкли бить голыми руками, и кулаки, они более острые, если можно так сказать, в кавычках. Вот я думаю, что это все оттуда. Потому что действительно я замечал, что мне хватает всего лишь нескольких ударов, чтобы у соперника уже появились какие-то сечки там, или синяки, как бы, и так далее. А сам я зачастую, бывает, пропускаю удары, но ухожу из боя неповрежденным и с чистым лицом. Вот, и в этом плане, конечно, я думаю, что это база карате. Вот, ну и тренировки, которые я сейчас делаю, я все равно стараюсь работать над своими ударами, над силой удара.
Саш, последний вопрос. Вот когда ты уже выходишь на бой, с кем у тебя, как правило, последний разговор настраиваешься? С супругой или с родителями? Как у тебя это происходит?
Ну, я могу сказать, что в принципе, такого особо нету. Это традиция, чтобы с кем-то у меня был последний разговор, потому что, ну, все-таки для меня это дело уже привычно, вот, и какой-то такой именно традиции в этом плане нету. Ну, и я, естественно, я общаюсь там и с супругой, там, и с родителями, они зачастую меня особо не дергают, а пишут сообщения какие-то с поддержкой, вот я им отвечаю. Вот, самое последнее, что я помню перед поединками, это разминка в раздевалке, это подводка к бою, то есть я уже полностью концентрируюсь уже в раздевалке, непосредственно поединок, и на другие вещи не отвлекаюсь.
Все, Саш, спасибо тебе огромное, желаем победы, верим в тебя. Thank you very much.
We'll take our next set of questions from Pablo Santamaria with Noti MMA, Ecuador.
Hi, Alex. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, the first thing I want to ask you is if you feel any pressure fighting a legend like Alistair Overeem.
No, I don't feel. I used to fight with the big names in my life, so I'm feeling okay with this. I'm excited to fight with him. It's a big name and it will be a good fight. So everything really cool.
Okay, I get it. So, where do you think he is more dangerous? Do you think he will try to take you down?
He's a good striker, and I feeling he can get a really big punch in the fight. But we will see, because I'm feeling that I'm better in everything than he. So I think I'm better in everything, and I don't feel anything from him.
Okay.
Sorry.
And where do you think a victory over Alistair puts you in? Do you want to call someone out in the top 5 if you get the victory?
First of all, I'm thinking about fight right now. I don't think about the future. I'm thinking just about fight. I don't want to look after this fight. I just want to win him, and then we'll see what will happen.
So, do you have a prediction for the fight?
Of course, I think I will win. I will try to knock him down, maybe in the middle of the fight, but we will see what happens. It doesn't matter how I will win. I will try to win anyway.
Okay, and would you like to send a message to your Ecuadorian fans?
Thank you to everybody who support me in this fight, and I'm really appreciative with this. I will try to win. I will try to show you a big show, big fight. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, Alex, and good luck on the fight.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Alistair Bishop with MMA Republic.
Are you, sir?
Hi.
Good. The first question I wanted to ask you actually is about your nickname, and does it relate to the fictional character of Ivan Drago?
Yes, a little bit. We I take it when I come to US first time. Just American guys here say that it's better to me to use some name what will be easy to American to understand me and remember me, and we will. And we saw that I'm looking like a little bit like Van Drago in a movie, and take this. It's just simple story.
Fantastic. Alistair Overeem is often considered one of the greatest strikers in heavyweight history. I mean, he's got long accolades and belts and championships. Is he a kind of guy that you looked up to on the way up? Someone that you watched closely coming up in your career?
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
Saying, is Alistair Overeem a fighter that you watched closely when you were starting your career?
You were coming up, you watched Alistair.
Yes. Sorry for my English. It's too,
No problem.
I speak sometimes. I am so he fights a lot before when I just I start fighting. I looking for him because I love his style, how he fights, how he did everything, and I can say that I was a fan of his fights, and now he is my opponent, and this really excites me.
So, if you can say that you were a fan of him, how do you deal with having respect for someone who you're a fan of, and now you have to face them?
It's not a problem. He's my opponent in the fight. I put everything out with respect and everything. Of course, I respect him, but it's don't influence on the fight, on me in this fight. So it's no problem with this.
Fantastic. Last one from me. The heavyweight title picture, there's a lot of guys in the mix. Do you feel that a good stoppage, a KO win over Alistair Overeem puts your name right back in the mix for the title?
We will see how it will be, because I don't want to look after his back. I just concentrate on the fight. We will see how I will win. It doesn't matter how, but of course, sure, if it will be good performance, it put me a little bit higher in the ranking. But I concentrate on the fight fully. And I will trying to just making a best show I can in this evening.
Thank you very much. Best of luck, sir.
Thank you so much.
We'll take our next set of questions from Martina Saluch with InTheCage.pl.
Hello, sir. This is Martina from In the Cage. Nice to see you here. Sir, I just have 3 questions for you. First of all, I would like to know which of your former opponents was your biggest challenge? I'm thinking about Curtis Blaydes and Derek Lewis, because those are the fights you have lost. So I wanted to know which of them was the biggest challenge in your career, or maybe it was somebody else.
I don't know about sorry.
No problem.
I think the biggest challenge was Curtis Blades. He's a good wrestler. He's a really biggest and high skill fighter. But maybe in the future I will meet him again, and we will make a new fight, and we will see who will win.
Okay, can you give us your prediction for a fight between Luis and Blades?
I think Curtis will win.
Okay, and last one from me. I wanted to ask you about Jon Jones. In one of his interviews, Dana White said that after the fight between Miocic and Ngannou, Jon Jones will probably have a title shot in heavyweight. Do you think it's fair?
If Jon Jones gets an immediate title shot, is it fair?
What's mean fair?
Fair, like, should he have to fight more fights, or do you think it's okay for him?
It's okay. I think it's okay because he's a good fighter. He's a legend of UFC, one of the best fighters in UFC, and the thing that he comes to heavyweight make heavyweights more interesting, and the thing that he will fight to the belt, it's make more interesting heavyweight division right now. So I'm okay with this, and maybe it will be good. I think it will be cool.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all for me.
Thank you.
We'll take our next questions from Augusto Niesque with Somos MMA.
Hey Alex, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, a couple of quick ones, Alex. The first one, which are going to be the keys for your victory on Saturday against Overeem?
I will try to be really concentrate on the fight, on this win. I will do everything I can do, and the key will be to be in the always concentrate and be yes. So I'm trying to don't make any mistakes in the fight. This will be a key.
Okay, and Alexander, it's true that your son, that was your son's birthday today or in these days?
Yes, his birthday was October 1st, in the first day, and yesterday, October 5, will be October.
February.
Yes, February 1st was birthday of my son, and February 5 will be birthday of my wife. So I missed 2 big days in my life on this fight week, but it's okay. I can concentrate on the fight, and I give them this win.
Okay, so and do you have any other present for them besides the win, of course?
For sure, but it will be at home.
Okay, and my last one, Alexander. In more or less 2 months, Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou will have the rematch. Who do you think will win that fight?
I see it's 50-50 in this fight for both of them, but probably I want Ngannou to win because it's make heavyweight a little bit new champion, and maybe this make heavyweight a little bit fresh, because now champion fighting just one fight in a year or something with the same opponents, so it's not good for heavyweight, and I hope Ngannou can
get the win.
Yes, and then we'll see what will happen.
Okay, thank you very much, Alexander. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you so much.
We'll take our last set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Stateside Press.
Hello, Alex. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, yes.
You were scheduled to fight Alistair before. How has the training for him changed, if at all?
I changed a lot. I became bigger. I became more stronger. I changed my own tactical, but this was just changed with the time because I had to fight with him 2 years ago, and now with these 2 years I'm changed too. So I just changed a lot of things, and now I'm better than I was before.
My final question, is it easier or harder for you to fight in Las Vegas compared to Abu Dhabi? Because I know you live in Russia, so the travel is longer to get to the United States.
I hope it doesn't matter for me because I'm professional. I'm fighting in the US and fighting in other cities, other countries. So it doesn't matter for me as a professional. So I'm trying to be in good shape anywhere in here in Abu Dhabi. So it's not a big deal for me to fighting in the US and Las Vegas. So. I'm excited to travel and enjoy just doing my job.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you so much.
That's all the questions we have for you today, Alexander. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Up next, we'll be joined by number 4 ranked UFC bantamweight, Frankie Edgar. We're now joined by number 4 ranked UFC bantamweight, Frankie Edgar, and we'll take our first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Gateside Press.
Hello, Frankie. How are you?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good. Thank you. Obviously, you had a solid debut at bantamweight last year. Dropping down again, how has the weight cut and everything been this second time around?
Yeah, pretty much the same as last time. So far, so good. I'm right in striking distance for tomorrow morning.
I know you've trained with Marlon Moraes in the past, so you know how good he is. What did you think of Cory's win over him in October?
Yeah, anybody can get a win over Marlon. I know they're a legit fighter. I thought that fight was rather close until the moment when he got knocked out with that spinning heel kick.
There's a lot going on at bantamweight. A lot of big names are going to be competing soon. What do you think should happen next for the belt after Aljo and Peter Yan and everyone else?
Yeah, I think the winner, me and Cory, are right there. Put on a good performance, and could be fighting for that belt next.
How do you get the job done against Cory on Saturday?
Just be myself, go out there, listen to my coaches, and stick to the game plan.
Thank you, Frankie. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Alistair Bishop with MMA Republic.
Frankie, how are you, sir?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. Fantastic. Thank you. Frankie, the first question I want to ask you, when it comes to weight classes, we've seen the trend mostly be guys going up in a weight division. You've made your way down a few now. What initially sparked the move to bantamweight?
My coaches have been, getting on me to go down for many, many years. And, having a couple of losses there at the end of 45, I thought, if I was going to do it, now would be the time.
And would you say that that's almost reinvigorated your career, almost like a blank, fresh start?
Yeah, for sure. New challenges. Guys that are more my size. Finally, first time in my career fighting guys that are my weight. Even though Cory's a lot taller than me, but he's not going to be that much heavier than me.
And you mentioned Cory there. Did you ever imagine that you'd be 3 weight divisions down from where you started, going alongside a youngster on the rise, also with title aspirations, and you're almost within reach of a title shot?
Yeah, I mean, I always set high goals for myself. So no matter what weight division I'm in, I've always been at the top, and at bantamweight's no different.
And you mentioned he's a bit taller. Do you think stylistically this is a good matchup for you to remind people of the skills Frankie Edgar still possesses?
Yeah, anytime you fight a guy that's ranked as high as Cory, that's coming up in the ranks, and you get a win over him, that's going to definitely show everybody that I still belong.
And the last one from me, Frankie, bit of a double sword. I wanted to ask about the longevity in your career. What do you credit that to, and what advice would you have for youngsters on the way up?
I think what I credit to that is the team I surround myself with, my passion for fighting, and how I take care of myself. I'm always in the gym, always trying to improve. And I guess just to what I give to guys coming up is make sure you love this sport. If you love this sport, it's like that adage, you don't work a day in your life.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir. Best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
Hey, Frankie. I know you just yesterday celebrated your 14th anniversary for your first UFC fight. I think I remember talking to you around that fight. What do you remember most about that night with Tyson Griffin and earning a Fight of the Night award in your first appearance in the UFC?
What I remember most, I remember winning the fight and going up in the stands, because that's what I used to do back in Jersey when local shows. I'd win the fight and I go up in the stands and people started grabbing at me, asking for my picture, and I was taken back, man. I wasn't expecting that.
Can you kind of put into words like when you get tagged in something like that? Because I know we've talked a lot about your career longevity and the fact that you're still at the top of a division, 14 years later. I mean, I know maybe you'll think about this more when your career's over, but is it kind of crazy to think about the body of work you have put in over these last 14 years?
It is, for sure. You don't want to go back and smell the roses too much, but it is good to look back and see, what you accomplished in your career. And, I do have quite a resume, and the fact that I'm still here spanning 3 weight classes is definitely a testament to the type of person I am.
I know winning another divisional title has been a big goal of yours for a while now, but I'm curious. A lot of people say, you are a future Hall of Famer. I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion at this point. But does that matter to you? Do things like that matter to you in terms of when it's all said and done, the way you're remembered for your career? Like, do you want to be a Hall of Famer, or do you not want to campaign for something like that?
I don't think you're supposed to campaign for it yourself. People should put you there because you deserve it. And, yeah, I mean, when you're all said and done, you do have the accolades and you're recognized for what you have accomplished is always nice. And it's something I will enjoy later on in life, but I'm not going to sit there and campaign for it. I think other people will have to do that for me.
When you look at your resume, I mean, obviously nothing against anybody else who's ever fought in the UFC, but do you feel like that's been a big mark of your careers? Because when you come in on day one, you're fighting a guy in Tyson Griffin who had a lot of hype in him, day one coming in and fighting a guy like that. And I don't know, have you ever faced an unranked opponent? I'm trying to think, like, throughout your entire career, it seems like you've always faced kind of like the top guys, which is kind of rare these days, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what kept me on my toes. Everybody I fought has been great. It kind of gives you that little bit of fear of who you're fighting. It makes you sure you're preparing the right way and you're constantly working on your skills.
And last one for me, I know this isn't the fight you're ahead of you with Cory Sandhagen, but, considering everything you've gone through and everything you've done, switching divisions, now you're here at bantamweight, what would it mean to you at this point in your career, 39, to become a UFC champion again? Like, what would that mean to you now, thinking about your first one? When you beat BJ Penn, you held that title for the first time. What would it mean now to become a champion?
Yeah, that would just be amazing. It would be the cherry on top of all of it. Everything would come full circle. It would show that all the work I put in through the years, came to fruition, and I was able to achieve my ultimate goal. But, first things first, I got to take care of Saturday.
Thanks, Frankie.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Cote Cruz with For the Win MMA.
Hi, Frankie. How you doing? Can you hear me?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, sir. Thank you for your time. Well, you've said in multiple interviews that you'll go till the wheels fall off, that your goal is right now to get back into title contention. Looking back at all the roads traveled in this conceptual vehicle, what would you say are the fondest experiences fighting for the UFC?
The experiences, obviously the big wins, winning a title are always great, but, just the people I met along the journey is probably the best thing, and the experiences that come with that. This is a great sport. I love what I do. I get up in the morning, and I'm not dreading going to the gym.
Well, since you've been very adamant about your mentality and goals to this day, has the talk of retirement has been something more recurring at this stage of your career? Is it, I don't know, maybe this kind of response that you're giving till the wheels fall off, it's some sort of a slap on the table, so to speak, on what you really want to do with your career?
Yeah, it just comes with getting older in sports. I'm sure Tom Brady hears it all the time. I've been hearing it probably since I've been 35, and that's just what it is, and nothing I can do about it. I get older, time goes by, it's just what it is, and I just got to keep performing and not worrying about what people want me to do or ask me what I'm going to do.
Well, as you said earlier, you're really confident coming into this fight. You respect Cory Sandhagen. How do you think the smaller cage will affect your game on game night, on fight night? I mean, do you believe that it will play to your advantage?
I don't know, man. I feel like, if you fight a guy in a football field or a telephone booth, the better guy should win the fight. And I think I'm the better guy, so that's what I plan on doing.
That's a fair point, sir. You recently had to stay in Colombia in South America to treat an injury, right? Can you comment on your experience getting that treatment there? What's so different about doing it in Colombia?
Yeah, I was in Medellin, Colombia with BioAccelerator. I got some stem cell treatment. The place was top notch, top of the game. And, I definitely felt some benefits. And I'm looking forward to see how much better it will help in the near future.
While you were there, you had the chance to share some of your time with the young people who are part of a boxing program, as I saw. Can you share some of that experience with the Colombian children?
Yeah, Boxeo, Pariel, Boxeo. I may be saying that wrong, but it was up in Comuna 13, and we got to go up there and see just young kids working on boxing, staying out of trouble. And me and Kamar Usman got to go up and teach them some stuff, and working on helping them out with some other things as well.
Final question from me. We've been talking a lot about trilogies lately since Conor, Dustin and all that. But you, sir, you have a trilogy of your own, which is amazing in its own right. How would you say it would compare this time around, your trilogy, to the one that we're expecting now with Conor and Dustin?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, the trilogy was good. Their trilogy, we'll see if it's good. I mean, they got one apiece. Me and Gray have some pretty epic fights, man. So yeah, it's always good to see some competitive battles.
Thank you so much for your time, sir. Good luck on Saturday.
We'll take our next questions from Sumit Data with Sportskeeda.
Frankie, hope you're doing well.
How you doing?
So this will be your second fight in bantamweight. You're coming off a beautiful victory from your last fight, but now you face a top contender in Cory Sandhagen, who is in the driver's seat to get the title shot. But for you, do you believe that this is a title eliminator, or do you think you need to eventually get that third victory and then aim for the title shot?
Yeah, I think where I'm at in my career, a win over Cory will definitely get me a title shot.
You're obviously the veteran coming into this fight, a former champion. Cory, on the other hand, is the young up-and-comer, but already has a few impressive wins on his resume. What do you think are the aspects to his game that make him a dangerous opponent?
Yeah, he's a dangerous opponent. He's got unorthodox style on his feet. He's got a savvy jiu-jitsu game. He's tall, long, and rangy. Definitely pushes the pace. I'm gonna have my hands full on Saturday night.
The bantamweight division, we know, is very stacked at the minute. There are a lot of exciting fighters to watch out for, yourself included. Now, another former champion in TJ Dillashaw is making a return soon. What do you think of his comeback will add to this division?
Yeah, it just adds more to this stacked division as it is. Obviously being a former champion, he's a very skilled fighter. This division's deep, and it's just going to get deeper.
Could you possibly be interested in fighting him in the future, maybe?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm kind of worried about Cory, obviously, but I'm down for a big fight. So yeah, I'm game for anybody.
Last question for me. At this stage of your career, you decided to drop down to bantamweight. You've competed at 155, then at 145, and now here you are at 135. Is there any secret to this longevity of yours that made you decide that you're going to drop down a few weight classes?
Yeah, I think the fact that when I fought at 55, I cut 0 weight. At 45, I cut very minimal weight. So now I'm finally kind of cutting weight compared to everyone else. I'm probably even not the biggest guy at 35, so that definitely gave me the ability to do that.
Well, I look forward to a fight this weekend, and good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
We'll take our next question from Nikita Gorshanin with Sport Express.
Frankie, big honor to ask you questions. Frankie, only 2 guys in UFC history have 5 fights winning streaks in 2 weight division. It's you and Demian Maia. It's crazy accomplishment. You won 5 fights in a row in lightweight and 5 fights in a row in featherweight. It's crazy. Frankie, my question is, in what period of time in your UFC career you were the happiest man? When you was in maximum flow and you were the happiest man?
I mean, I've been happy the whole time, man. Obviously there's ups and downs in your career, but I've always kept a pretty positive attitude. Like I said, I enjoy what I do. There's no difference between 55, 45, 35 to me. It's all the same. I'm still competing, still fighting the best guys. So it's all been a joy to me.
Frank, your coach Mark Henry have this code word for some combinations. Do you remember the most funniest code that he has for you for some combination, maybe some shot? I don't know.
I mean, we switch it up so much, and I'm not ready to give up the secret sauce, so I'm not really going to share the codes too much. But yeah, we switch it up so much. We've done Korean, Japanese, Russian, Portuguese. I mean, we've done everything.
Frankie, do you remember in your career your finish when you won not by something by game plan, but it was on a hunch, but gut instinct, and you won fight just in second of improvisation? Was that such win for you? You proud of?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of fights, man. So to go back and just one on improvisation, I think a lot of times I've been rocked, in those Maynard fights. Sometimes even in the Ben Henderson fights, I was kind of rocked pretty good, and I just had to improvise and go on some guts and glory. But luckily, I have good coaches in my corner, and I always zero in on them and able to listen to their instructions.
Frankie, thank you so much. Good luck and the win. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We'll take our next set of questions from Pablo Santamaria with For the Win Podcast.
Hey, Frankie, can you hear me?
Yep, got you.
Okay, the first thing I want to ask you is that you've been successful on lightweight, featherweight, and now on bantamweight. What's the main key of have that success all over your career?
I just think approaching training the right way, taking care of my body, and enjoying what I do. I definitely do everything the right way. I make sure I never in that cage not prepared.
Okay. You have faced a lot of big names, huge fighters, with good strategy and stuff like that. Where do you rank Cory Sandhagen amongst your rivals?
Yeah, I mean, he's right up there with some of the best guys I fought. Obviously his ranking says that, his resume says that, and he's got a future ahead of him too in this sport. So yeah, he's one of the best guys I fought as well.
Sure. Do you think your wrestling will be a key to get the victory?
Yeah, I think my wrestling is something I try to utilize in every fight, and that's something that could definitely come to play.
For sure. And what's your prediction for the fight?
Yeah, my prediction is a victory. I'm not really one to sit there and pick how it's going to go or what way it's going to go, but I'm going to get my hand raised.
You're a legend, like I said before. Would you like to send a message to your up-and-coming fighters here in Latin America?
Yeah, to the two fighters out there, just stay in the grind, get after it, and no secret to success is hard work. So the harder you work, the more you gain.
Thank you very much for your time, Frankie, and good luck on the fight.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Augusto Niesque with Somos MMA.
Hey, Frankie, how are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
Great, thank you. Frankie, yesterday was the anniversary of your UFC debut, as we have been talking. I want to know, back in those days, did you ever imagine such a successful career?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was still working as a plumber in my first fight in UFC. I think into my third fight in UFC, I was still working full-time as a plumber. So I really didn't know what to expect, but I always set high goals for myself. So I'm not overly surprised, but yeah, I don't know if I expected this.
Which was the hardest part of that life, working as a plumber and also training for MMA?
Yeah, working as a plumber is much harder, man. It's snowing in Jersey right now, and I used to have to get up early in the morning and working that cold. I'd much rather go get punched in the head a little bit.
Frankie, if you had to make a top 3 of the fights that you enjoyed the most in the UFC, which ones would you choose?
That's tough, but I would say obviously winning the title, the Gray Maynard fight, this the third Gray Maynard fight with the finish, and maybe Yair fight.
Okay, and my last one, I'm talking about the fight on Saturday. What do you need to be careful with Cory Sandhagen?
I should just be careful with his length and range and his unorthodox, his awkwardness, I guess you could say.
Okay. Thank you very much, Frankie, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Jay Anderson with Stateside Press.
Hey, thanks very much, Frankie. Welcome back. Just a couple from me. I wanted to start, ESPN did a feature on you recently where they called your success in the UFC improbable. And, you've been the underdog in a bunch of fights, but it doesn't seem improbable that you continue to win. Do you still feel like the underdog? Do you carry that mentality into your fights?
I don't think I'm the favorite many times in my fights, especially as the older I get, it seems like. So it seems natural. It's kind of normal to me. I can't help but everyone seems to bring up the fact that I'm underdog. So that puts the pressure on this guy. He's supposed to go in there. If you look at the line, he's supposed to go in there and walk through me, which is kind of laughable a little bit.
And you touched on it a little, and I know it's putting the cart before the horse, but at 39, if you do get that title shot and if you do get a second reign, have you thought about what that plan would be? Would you want to stick around and defend a couple of times, or would you think, hey, you know what, now's the time to ride off into the sunset?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, as long as I'm obviously I'd still be competitive. I'm the champion. As long as my body's good, I'd probably still fight, man. Like I said, I do enjoy this.
And last one for me, you mentioned football and Tom Brady. Who do you think wins the Super Bowl?
I'm obviously pulling for the old guy, but the Chiefs look pretty good. So we'll see. I'm pulling for Brady.
All right. Well, best of luck this weekend, Frankie.
Thank you.
We'll take our last set of questions from Martina Saluch with Indicate.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. I'm fine. So I have 3 questions. First of all, I would like to know, what do you think about Petr Yan, bantamweight champion, about his skills and cage game?
Yeah, I think he's a good fighter. Very good stand-up. Good cardio. Very technical fighter.
Okay. How do you see his fight with Aljamain Sterling, who you got in this fight?
Yeah, I think it's a good fight. I think Petr Yan still has some things we don't know about him. I think Aljo has a very good takedown game. To me, it comes down to who could establish where the fight goes. I think if Aljo is able to secure takedowns, he'll win.
In your opinion... Sorry.
No. Then I think if it stays on the feet, I think Petr Yan will win. But we'll see.
Okay. And in your opinion, who's the best boxer in UFC history?
Oh, I don't know. Best boxer in UFC history. James Toney. No, I would say, that's a tough one. Max is looking really good. Dustin looks really good. I'd say one of those guys maybe.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we have for you today, Frankie. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Up next, we'll be joined by UFC flyweight Manel Kape. Up next, we will be joined by number 13 ranked UFC bantamweight Cody Stamann. We're now joined by number 13 ranked UFC bantamweight Cody Stamann, and we'll take our first set of questions from Jay Anderson with Stateside Press.
Hey, Cody, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be back.
This is obviously not necessarily the fight you were originally prepared for. I mean, you had Merab, and you've got Andre. I mean, it's become commonplace during the pandemic, but how much of an obstacle is the change in opponent?
You know, I don't really look at it as much of an obstacle. Honestly, preparing for Merab, I felt like I had trained hard enough to fight anyone. You know what I mean? Merab's a nasty dude, and you've got to be in really good shape to fight that guy. So, I mean, at this point, I literally told my manager, I'm like, it doesn't matter who it is. Just send me the contract, and we'll get it done. Like, I'll fight anybody. Anybody that will say yes. I don't care what weight it's at. We're gonna do it. And luckily for me, it's at 145 pounds, so I don't really have to cut very much weight.
And I was going to touch on that. I mean, it's, you know, for obvious reasons that featherweight's in play again here. But, I mean, you've had a few fights at 145 now. So are you thinking of maybe just running and playing this out, or is the plan to go back to the bantamweight later in the year?
Yeah, I definitely got to go back to bantamweight. I was really disciplined this time around. Like I said, rigorous training camp and preparation for Merab. My weight got really low, lowest it's been. So I was looking really good for 135. And I didn't think it was going to be much of a struggle to make 35. And now, honestly, I'm eating and drinking. It's Thursday. I don't really have to cut any weight, maybe like 2-3 pounds tonight. I'll do a quick workout and make 145 pounds. So, I mean, I'm pretty small, and I would really like to get this kid out of there in a big hurry and fight again soon, you know, because I put a lot of time, like before this fight. I mean, I was supposed to fight in December, you know what I mean? So we're talking about 2 months before that, and now 2 months after. So it's like 4 months. And I feel like I have at least a couple fights in me, and I could definitely make 35 here in a few weeks.
I know you said the change in opponents didn't change too much because, you know, you trained hard enough for Merab, you could fight anyone. Does it kind of change your approach in training, though, knowing that anyone can fall out at any time? Do you train to focus inward more and, you know, kind of focus just on your own game?
Yeah, I mean, if you talk to any of the OGs in the sport, they all talk about how, you know, in the beginning of their career, they focused so much on who they were fighting and what they were going to do and trying to anticipating, you know, what reactions to have for what moves. You know, you're fighting a wrestler, you're going to wrestle a lot. You're fighting a striker, you're going to, if you're a wrestler, you're going to look to take them down, you know, in opportune moments. But I've kind of adopted that same thing. The only thing I changed necessarily with my opponent is I try to get people that have the same body types, and, you know, I'll pay guys to spar a certain way. So like when it was Merab, I had a bunch of, you know, short guys that could wrestle, and I'm like, take me down. I'll give you $50 every time you take me down a round, like some incentive to like, hey, kick my ass. And then when it was Andre Ewell, same thing. You know, I found taller guys that could fight southpaw. And I just want the live look, really. I mean, and then all my training, it's all the same. You know what I mean? I just want to get the live look. That way I'm not going in the cage and something's happening where, you know, I'm fighting a guy that's got an 80-inch reach, and I just haven't seen that before. And it's like surprising, and I got to take 5 minutes to figure it out because you don't have that time in the cage.
Gotcha. And last one for me, just talk about the matchup a little. Obviously, Askar might not be the most well-known guy to some UFC fans, but he's definitely a gamer stepping up to fight you.
Yeah, I mean, 11-1. I feel like the kid's got some skills. I mean, I've watched a few of his fights. Yeah, he's tough. He's tough, and I like that. Yeah, he kind of has a similar style to me. You know, I think he's more of like a boxer, kickboxer, wrestler. He wins most of the fights by taking guys down. I think he's a really good matchup for me to put on, you know, a highlight type performance. You know, it's unfortunate for him that, you know, this is his UFC debut, but hey, you know, after I kick his ass on Saturday, at least he's in the show.
All right. Well, looking forward to it this Saturday. Thanks very much.
Yep.
We'll take our next set of questions from Cote Cruz with For the Win MMA. Oh, no, we'll actually go to Gabriel Gonzalez with Kate Cypress.
Hey, Cody, can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear.
Just checking. I only got one quick one. Jay really handled a lot of them, but not to look far ahead. Is the fight with Merab still the matchup you're looking for after this one? Or do you feel like after all the rescheduling, you're ready to move on to a new opponent?
You know, I'm going to go get a win Saturday night, and I think Merab needs to do the same. You know, and the Merab fight was just a fight. It was more of a test of will, if you would. For me, you know, I think Merab is kind of the most tenacious guy in the division, and I really wanted to fight a guy like that moving forward, just because I think it would be, you know, great cage experience. But if I'm looking at Merab really hasn't beat anyone, you know, worth naming. I think there'd be a lot more name value, and there'd be a lot more clout, so to speak, if Merab went and beat somebody in the top 15. You know, I think he'd be a lot better. It'd make more sense for me, you know, because I've beat, you know, 5 guys in the top 15, top 10. So, you know, if we're looking at just that, they're a lot bigger fish to fry than Merab.
The bantamweight picture, you know, with a new champion in Peter Yan and a lot of moving parts, it's an exciting time. For yourself, how would you script your perfect 2021 to get to that point where you are in title contention?
You know, I think I'm only a couple fights away, really. It's one big win against somebody that is on a little bit of a tear. You know, I've had a habit of knocking these guys off their trains. You know, Alejandro Perez, you know, 5-0, Ultimate Fighter winner. I go out and beat him on short notice. Brian Kelleher, 3 finishes, you know, in a row, like in 6 months, and you know, I go beat him. Song Yadong, I mean, all these guys. You know, so it takes one more of those guys in the top 10 for me to beat. You know, I go out, have the performance I know I can have on Saturday, and then I look for one of those big names. And you know, honestly, there's so many big fights at bantamweight. You know, you can't really be in a hurry to the title because there's so many guys deserving of the shot. You don't know how the Frankie Edgar, Cory Sandhagen fight is going to pan out. You know, easily one of those guys gets a win. He's the next guy for the shot. You know, so the title is always kind of within and without reach, right? So I really think it's, for me, I'm just focused on my career and building my name so that, you know, when the time comes and, you know, some of these OGs start to kind of retire and fall off, and it opens the division up a little bit more for the younger guys like myself and some of the other guys that have popped in over the last few years. You know, I want to be a front runner in that equation. So I want the big fights. I want to fight the legends. I want to fight the Jose Aldos. I want to fight the Frankie Edgars. I want to have those big names on my resume when the time comes.
Hey, thank you, Cody. Good luck.
Thanks.
That's all we have for you today, Cody. Thank you.
Sweet. Thank you.
Next, we will be joined by UFC flyweight Manel Kape. We're now joined by UFC flyweight Manel Kape, and we'll take our first set of questions from Jay Anderson with Kate Cypress.
Welcome, Manel, and welcome to the UFC. I know you did weigh in previously, but how does it feel to finally be in a fight week and be getting in the octagon?
I'm feel good. I'm feel excited. You know, it's been a long time for my debut, and finally I'm here, and I feel so excited and ready for show the world who I am.
And like you said, it's been a long wait here. I mean, you had the August date and then December. How frustrating has it been to be having to wait this long to make your debut?
It's not frustrating, you know. My fight camp when I was canceled, maybe I can say was frustrated. But no, was frustrated. I was thinking that maybe don't happen for something good that will be in future, you know. And when I get another fight, and then this fight don't happen again, I was keep pushing training, and think that something more better for me will come. And then they give me the backup, and I was thinking like, oh, this is what God gave for me and bring me for me. And for my first fight, I will fight for the title, but no happen. But I stay. I make a better change in my fight camp. Come in America, training with good people, and then I was more better than before. I was thinking that I was good, but now I feel pretty complete fighter.
And a lot of dedicated MMA fans are very excited for your debut, obviously because of your success in Ryzen. What are you hoping to show in this first fight?
I'm looking for a great battle. You know, I know that Pantoja is a tough guy, but I see some limitation is in his game that I can take a good advantage from these limitations. I feel more complete than him, more smart. So I will have a better advantage in Saturday night and make a beautiful masterclass for everybody.
And when you talk about Pantoja and some of the issues you see in his game, I mean, what do you see in him that you can take advantage of?
I say his limitation is more slow than fighters that I've been fighting before. It's nothing that I never see before, you know, in his game. But always, I never underestimate me. Nobody, never. But I'm sure that I'm better than him, 100%.
And last one for me, you moved your fight camp to San Jose for this bout. How has that differed from your usual training in Thailand?
You know, here I have more training partners that are in this business fight. You know, they are competing high level. So this change the intensity what I have before and what I have now, and the coach I have a better details in my game. You know, I'm more smart. They bring me new things that I will put in this game. I will put on Saturday night.
All right. Well, definitely looking forward to the fight this Saturday. Best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
Hey, Manel, welcome to the UFC. I want to start off by asking you your thoughts on the flyweight division in the UFC. Obviously, you're taking on a top-ranked guy in day one. When you look at the champion, Deiveson Figueiredo, you look at Brandon Moreno, Joseph Benavidez. What are your thoughts on the top guys in this division?
No, you know, I'm looking for the champion. This is my goal. I come here for be a champion, not for be one more fighter in UFC. This is my goal, and I already am see a champion. This is just will be in a time, and Saturday night I will show why I say that in the future I'll be a champion, and I have the reasons, I have the game, I have everything in my side.
A lot of guys, when they come to the UFC, they may struggle in their debut a little bit just because the UFC is a different show, different level of competition. But you fought a lot of great fighters in Ryzen, a lot of UFC veterans. Do you feel like that experience is going to help you overcome that tendency of guys struggling in their debut?
Yes, of course. Like I say, I'm super experienced. I'm young, but I'm experienced, you know, and fighting. And one more time, I don't will fight against UFC. UFC promotion. I will fight against fighters like me, you know, that won't stay here in UFC. I'm not a business promotion. I'm a business fighter, you know. I'm a fighter. So I will fight a fighter, not to UFC. So I don't have any pressure, no weight in me in fight UFC. I'm feel very, very calm. And Saturday night I will be free to show all the skills what I have.
Manel, when you were fighting in Ryzen, you obviously fought at bantamweight. You also fought around 130 pounds there. Obviously, you're fighting at flyweight in the UFC. Do you feel like flyweight is your true home, or is there a chance you may take bantamweight fights at some point?
You know, this change for me, I was a smart change because I'm young and I know that I can cut a weight, so I can still cut a good weight for flyweight, and why not? Because I'm feel good, I'm feel strong from flyweight. Then when become more older, I can go up in bantamweight again.
And last one for me, obviously Pantoja is a great first step, and I'm not looking past him, but how big do you want 2021 to be for you? I mean, do you hope to be, you know, a title contender by the end of the year? Would that be the ideal scenario for you?
Of course. My thoughts for this year, my goal for this year is to be a champion in this year. 2021, this is my goal, to in the end of the year, rise the belt of UFC.
Thank you, Manel.
You're welcome.
We'll take our next set of questions from Augusto Niesgay with Somos MMA.
Hey, Manel, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. I'm good, thank you.
Oh. Okay, Manel, my first question is, since you used to fight in bantamweight back in Rising, how is the weight cutting process going on?
Better than before, I can tell you. I'm more disciplined this time. I'm being worked with a good nutritional, and I'm always on weight.
Okay, and Manel, you have said it. You have a lot of experience, but this is a particular fight week for you, and a lot of things might be new. So, which are the main differences that you could find in UFC from the other companies where you have fought?
You know, of course, like I said before, I don't will fight against UFC. I will fight against somebody that wants this opportunity like me. You know, against some fighter that being here in fighting UFC, but I'm be in another side fighting too. You know, in high level competition, and I become a champion in high level competition. So I don't see any different. You know, I don't see any different. The only difference that before I fight in the ring, now I will fight in octagon.
Okay, and well, you come to the flyweight division that back in the day, a few years ago, it was supposed to disappear, but now it's literally on fire. So, what are you bringing to this flyweight division?
I'm bringing fireworks. I'm bringing excited fighters. I'm bringing new blood, fresh blood, and I bring the mentality of the champion.
Awesome. And my last question, Manel, which type of fight do you imagine on Saturday?
The type of the fight that I imagine in Saturday will be in the first round. I will frustrate Pantoja. I will beat his body, beat his nose, broke his ribs, and then in the second round I will knock out him. This is the fight where I saw.
Okay. Thank you very much, Manel. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Alistair Bishop with MMA Report.
How are you, sir?
Thank you. I'm good.
Good. Shout out from South Africa. I just wanted to ask you, how does it feel to be the guy from Angola to make it all the way to the UFC?
It's good. It's good to be the first one here, and it's an amazing experience.
Obviously, coming in, there's a lot of hype behind you. We've seen your skill set in Ryzen. Is there any pressure to perform on your debut?
No, any pressure. No, any pressure. I'm feel good. I'm feel free to do my job. I'm feel free to do my job and enjoy this time.
Fantastic. We've seen a massive rise in African talent, in African-born talent. Does this give you extra motivation to now be in the UFC to showcase your skills and the skills of Africa?
Of course. Now, many African fighters, they are good in good position in UFC, and I'll be one of them.
What can you tell us about the MMA scene in Angola? Obviously, in South Africa, we've got Demart Penna, who's a undefeated champion here in South Africa. But what else can you say about the MMA scene in Angola?
No, the MMA in Africa is pretty tough. You know, we just need the opportunities what many people here have, and with these opportunities we can show our talent and how strong we are.
And if there's people out there that have never seen you fight before, what would you say they can expect from you come fight night?
Sorry, I don't understand your question.
So if there's people that have never seen you fight before, what would you say they can expect from you come fight night?
No, they can expect a master class, like I said before. They can expect Saturday night a master class. I will put a good show, and there don't be a boring. There will be a boring fight, believe me.
Fantastic. And would you have a message to any of your supporters, especially those of us here in Africa?
I just want to say thank you for everything. I saw the message, many messages that they sent me. And I love you guys. I love you, Africa, too. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you so much.
We'll take our last set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Kicksat Press.
Hello, Manel. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
You've been part of bigger fights before in Ryzen, but what are the emotions like as you go into this fight in UFC by comparison?
About the emotions, you know, I'm not an emotion fighter, you know. I've been fighting before. My last fight was more than 35,000 people inside the Saitama Super Arena, and you can see my fight. I was super tranquil, super calm, did my job, listened my trainers, and did a good job. No emotions. Is my job, and so I will take care of this. Very, very cool.
In December, when the fight with Pantoja was canceled, the UFC made you the backup for the championship fight. That is very rare for a fighter who has never fought in the company to possibly be in that position. What did it mean to you that they said, this could be your opportunity, we trust you to do this?
This just means that I'm a different fighter. I'm not like that. The other fighters, of course. They mean that they believe in my skills, they believe in my potential, so they believe that I will be the future champion of this division.
My final question, how did it help you to have an extra month to prepare for Pantoja?
No, I was ready, not extra month. I was in till July past till training. I don't like is 4 camps already. You know, I have 4 camps already, and I didn't stop. I didn't rest. Just keep pushing hard and motivation.
Thank you, Manel, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
That's all we have for you today, Manel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, we'll be joined by number 13 ranked UFC lightweight Beneil Dariush. We are now joined by number 13 ranked UFC lightweight Beneil Dariush, and we'll take our first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Stateside Press.
All right.
Hey, Beneil, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Obviously, this one's a rematch. How do you feel both yourself and Diego have changed since the last fight?
Well, obviously, he's improved a lot. You can see it in his stand-up and his scrambles. He hasn't been as active as I have, but in every fight he's won. Since his loss to Dustin. So I'm pretty impressed with him. I'm excited about the rematch, and I'm really motivated to make sure we don't go 1-1. So that's where I'm at.
I know the back end of 2020 was frustrating in terms of getting back to the cage, with the cancellation, Charles and everything. So when you're in that position, how do you stay positive? Obviously you want to stay ready, but then emotionally, how do you keep yourself from feeling that frustration, showing up to get on the grind without a fight?
Okay, so this is something I've actually been thinking about, because it's good to know your desires and what is your motivation, and you don't want things to cloud it. So, one day after my fight with Scott, they called me about Charles. They sent me a text, and I said yes. And I got back into camp, so I didn't really get a vacation or a break. And then he pulled out, but I thought maybe we're going to go back in. So I just kept waiting, and it never happened. And then eventually I got Diego. So it was like a constant go. And a lot of people have asked what you just asked. What keeps you motivated? And I've thought about this too. And ultimately, I believe my talents are God-given. And if they're God-given, they need to be used for God's purpose. I don't have any plans to slow down just because of an opponent. Whether it's Charles, Diego, or whatever, the fight gets canceled, doesn't. I want to make my talents as sharp as possible and multiply them as much as I can, and then hand them back to the Lord, my Lord and Savior. So that's kind of my mindset. I've been given something. I want to add on to it and give it back as a gift.
I understand. My final question, lightweight is always competitive, but it's safe to say there's a lot more going on lately, right? After, with everything going on, Poirier, McGregor, all these other guys, what do you think should happen next? And for yourself, what would you like to see? Because you're on a great run looking to break in there yourself.
God willing, the fight goes well with Diego. I win and nobody's injured and it's all good. I would like someone top 5, obviously top 3, whatever. But, I said this, my last interview after the Scott fight, I said, man, I'm not begging anymore. I'm tired of it. I kept asking for names. And after a while, I started to feel like I was like begging. I was like, hey, can I please have some bread or something? I was like, nah, I'm sick of it. Whoever they put in front of me, I'm going to treat like I'm fighting the champion, and I'm going for the kill. So it's that simple. If you want to put a new guy in front of me, man, guess what? When I beat him, he's going to be very discouraged. You want to put a veteran in front of me, he's going to get beat. You want to put the champ in front of me, doesn't matter. He's going to get beat. I am the guy right now, and that's just how I look at it.
Hey, thank you, Beneil, and good luck.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
Hey, Beneil, I know it's been 6 years since you fought Diego the first time, but what do you remember most about that fight?
Things that I remember, he caught me in back of my head with a hook round 3 that had me a little bit hurt. So I do remember that. So I know he's got power. I'm aware of that. I remember the fact that I had him in so many bad positions, but he never really got tired. He could push, good cardio, and man, he's not an easy guy to finish. Normally, if I get somebody down for more than a round, I get a finish, and I wasn't even close to finishing him. So I'm looking to show that I've improved a lot more in this fight and get a finish.
Well, you kind of answered my question, but I'll ask it anyways. When you talk about improving upon that fight, do you feel like that is kind of like the way you can kind of grade where you're at now? If you can go out and finish or dominate, Diego Ferreira in this fight, do you feel like that's a big statement for you in this fight?
Yeah, that would be exactly what I need to do, either dominate or finish. The thing, if you watch the first fight, it was 30-27, but every round was so close. You know, I won every round by an inch or by a takedown or something like that. So like it's not an easy fight. So I recognize that now, and I'm excited for it, and I don't want it to be the last fight, like the last fight. I don't want it to be close. I want people to say, why did we even match these guys up? I want Sean to be like, okay, I shouldn't have done that. Like, that's how I want this fight to go.
With that being said, you talked about kind of the shift in mentality because you had been calling for so many top 10 guys as you try to work your way up the rankings because you've been on this big streak right now. And you finally get a top 10 opponent. It's a guy you fought already. Was there any, were you ever like shaking your head a little bit, or at least, you know, was slightly disappointed this ended up being the fight only because everything you've been doing, just trying to get a top 10 opponent and you get one, but now it's a rematch?
You're 100% on point here. I wouldn't say I was disappointed, but I was shaking my head and like a little bit confused and frustrated. I'm like, we've already fought. We're both on like a good streak. Why not fight maybe closer to the title or for the title? Because if you think about it, like there's a lot of guys who are 1-1 or 0-1, 2-1 in the top 5 or the top 7 or top 6, whatever you want, whatever the number is. So why not each of us get a piece of those guys? But instead we fight each other and like those guys just keep fighting in between themselves. So I didn't understand the choice, but I said, I get it. Let's just go.
And you said that, you know, at this point, you're just going to fight who they put in front of you. But I know there has been a little bit of frustration from some of the guys in that top, you know, 7, 8, 9, 10 range where you're at. That, you know, right now we're all talking about, is it going to be Dustin and Conor 3? Is it going to be, you know, Michael Chandler and, you know, Charles Oliveira? Is it going to be Justin Gaethje? We're talking about these same 4 and 5 guys. You had Charles Oliveira. Unfortunately, that fight fell apart. But would you like to see the matchmakers, you know, kind of mix things up a little bit? You know, you get a Justin Gaethje, or maybe you do get a Charles Oliveira instead of, you know, we're only talking about those top 3 or 4 guys, you know, determining who's going to fight for the title.
So in my mind, a good scenario would be, you know, see how things go this week. And if I win or Diego wins, one of us gets to fight either Charles or one of us gets to fight Chandler. And then maybe just have Justin fight Dustin Poirier and then go from there. I mean, I get Conor is a big name and he brings a lot of pay-per-view buys. He's a star power and all that. I get it's good, but if you want to move the division forward, Justin and Dustin Poirier makes sense. I think Chandler for me or Oliveira makes sense. And then yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I can't really put too many other guys together.
The last one, I'll just kind of follow up on that because right now we know Khabib is retired. Do you think it should be Dustin and Justin for the title? Would that be the ideal scenario?
I think so. I think like they had an awesome fight. Like they had I think it was a fight of the year candidate. So like they had a great fight, man. Redo it. You know, they were both interim champions. It's like you have 2 interim champions, so it means one guy should, you know, fight to be a champion. For I just think so. If Khabib's out of the picture, and these are the two top guys, have him fight, get it over with, so we can move the division forward. Like, just because they get to become champion doesn't affect me really. I'm still gonna go out there and I'm gonna hunt everybody one at a time and eventually get the belt. So why try to like sneak in there and get the belt early? Just let's get this done, man.
Thank you, Beneil.
We'll take our next set of questions from Nikita Gorshny with Sport Express.
Beneil, big pleasure to speak to you.
Hey, bro, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
Beneil, only 2 guys right now in UFC have 4 fight winning streaks consisting of finishes. It's you and Francis Ngannou. It's crazy that lightweight and heavyweight both in one statistical hit parade, you know. Can you explain how it's happened that you starting finishing people in that way? Because you have never had 2 knockouts win in a row. Yes, you have now 2 knockouts win in a row and you never had it before. What's happened when why you became so killer?
So, I started martial arts when I was 18. I didn't start when I was a young kid. And I think the difference you see now is just me improving. I showed up in the UFC when I was 24 years old. I mean, that's just 6 years of training. I know that. I've had that in the back of my head all this time. I never got to the UFC and said, okay, I've made it. I got enough skills. The reason why you're seeing me change is because I recognize I'm very insecure when it comes to my skills. So I'm constantly trying to add to my skills so that, there's improvement every fight. And that's really the most important thing. I have to keep growing. The day where I get up and say, I got enough skills, I just need to get in shape and fight is the day I retire, man. I won't want to be here anymore. I love fighting. I love martial arts. I love testing myself, and I want to continue to do that. And if I'm not growing, I'm not really testing myself. I'm just going through the motions. So I think the reason why I've improved is because I'm insecure.
Beneil, George St. Pierre once said that he enjoys submission more than knockout win. What about you? You prefer submission enjoy more or knockout?
So knockouts are weird, man, because sometimes you land and it doesn't even feel like you hit anything. And my last two fights have been knockouts, and everybody's like, "Why do you walk away? Why don't you just follow up?" And to be honest, I don't. It's not like I get a lot of knockdowns in training or knockouts in fights, so it's new to me. To say I enjoy one over the other, I don't know, but I do enjoy, like, for example, a clean submission. If I can jump on something, and I think I would probably say submission still. I still favor submissions, but it's pretty close. For example, like the thing that happened with Dober, that move I've never done before. The first time I ever did that move in that situation in that way was with Dober. So for me, it was like, what the heck just happened? And then I went home and started to practice to see if this move works on a regular basis, because typically I would get it in a different situation. I wouldn't have it like that. And I still enjoyed that part of the game. I enjoyed that part of the puzzle. So I think I'm still a little bit more into submissions.
Beneil, after your last win with spinning back fist, you told amazing story how the friend of your son wrote you in direct and asked you to perform this technique. So this time this boy writes something to you and asks you to perform anything?
I think he was still saying back fist, spinning back fist, but no, Billy, that was very specific. He messaged me the week of my fight, and he was like, "You got to do a spinning back fist in the video game." Is it the what is it, the EA or whatever video game? He's like, "You're so good at it. It's like your best move." I'm like, "That's weird. I barely do spinning back fists in my fights." So he hasn't messaged me anything new, but if he does, I'll let you guys know after the fight.
So Beneil, thank you very much. Big pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
We'll take our next question from Augusto Niesgue with For the Win MMA.
Hey, Beneil, how are you?
Good, and yourself?
Fine, thank you. Beneil, a few days ago, I have interviewed Diego Ferreira, and he said the same that you were saying a few moments ago, that it's really hard for guys like you, like him, with long fight winning fight streaks to get the big fights and the big names. What do you think that happens?
Politics. I think the answer is politics. I think the UFC has to do what's best for the UFC. The fighters have to do what's best for the fighters. And, somewhere in between, things get lost. And we kind of forget the sports aspect of it, like to see who's the best fighter, who's the best contender. But in reality, we're just trying to low risk, high reward. That's what it is. Everybody's trying to look for low risk and high reward. And, the guy who stood out for me to kind of emulate is Max Holloway. I think he had like a 10-fight win streak before he fought Jose Aldo for the belt. So, man, how am I going to sit here and complain when that guy had to fight 10 times in a row and have awesome performances every time? So I'm not going to sit here and complain. I'm just going to just gonna look to kind of maul everybody I see.
And how many fights do you think you should win to get the shot?
You know, that's a
Are we
question I
10?
need to ask you guys. That's a question I should be asking you guys because I'm just a dumb fighter. You guys are the experts in this game. So I honestly want to pick your brains. I want to be like, how many more fights? Who I got to fight? What I got to do? So if you guys have an answer for me, please send a message. Call me. I don't know. Just let me know.
Okay, and talking about the fight, Beneil, Diego told me that he loves how you improved, especially your Muay Thai in these few years since your first fight. Which aspect do you think is the most dangerous aspect of Diego's fighting game?
Diego, volume, pressure, scrambles. And it'll go with. I'll start with pressure, then volume, then scrambles. I think that's what makes Diego so good.
Okay, and which type of fight do you imagine on Saturday? What are going to be the keys for your victory?
I've never been in a fight where I said I'm not going to do a takedown. I've never been in a fight where I don't focus on grappling. There's no difference here. Every fight I will try to take you down and I will try to just suffocate you. That's my goal. My stand-up, I'm not saying it's a second, but my grappling has always been number one, and I don't want to forget that. That's my roots, and I want to stick with it. So whether it's Diego or even if it was Khabib or let's say someone who's a great wrestler, great jiu-jitsu, it doesn't matter. Grappling for me comes first, and then striking.
Okay, and if everything goes according to the plan, there are no major injuries, when would you like to come back to the octagon?
Great question. So here's the thing. My wife is 19 and a half weeks pregnant, and we're going to have a baby in June. So once I have a baby, you're not going to see me around for a little bit. I'm not.
Okay.
I'm going to be spending a lot of time with my girl. So with that being said, I'd like to get in there either late April or May. So if I want to fight 3 times this year, and I enjoy fighting 3 times this year, I would like to jump back in. God willing, I'm healthy. Jump back in either April or May, and then take some time, spend that time with my daughter, and then fight at the end of the year.
Sounds great. Congratulations for your daughter, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
We'll take our last set of questions from Cote Cruz.
Hey, Beneil, how you doing?
Good, and yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for your time today, sir. You're celebrating 7 years in the organization this year. Is there any particular memories that stand out in your time with the UFC?
2 years I went without a victory. I had a loss, a draw, and a loss. It was the hardest time of my life, but at the same time, it made me who I am right now. So it was so bitter, but right now it's sweet. So it's the thing that stands out the most because it was the lowest of the lows. I enjoy the highs so much more. I appreciate this moment so much more, and whatever comes next. And I was telling people, now that I'm gonna have a baby girl, I'm like at the top of the mountain. I can't think of anything greater. So they're like, oh yeah, so if you win, it's gonna be just more, right? I was like, man, win or lose, I don't think I'm getting over this. This is it right now. Yeah, I'm not sure what's gonna get me to be more happy than this. So that's what I'm thinking right now. Is I had the lowest of the lows, and right now I'm at the highest of the highs. So I'm just looking forward to Saturday.
Well, speaking about Saturday, you stated in an interview that you don't fear Diego's ability to scramble, that you'll be dominant in those positions. Do you see that this fight is going to get to that road?
That's not exactly what I said. I didn't say I don't fear it. I fear it, but I have to go into it. If I walk away from it, if I avoid it, that's when I'll lose. Bravery isn't the lack of fear. Bravery is confronting fear. So I do fear his ability. I do fear his ability to scramble, his volume, his pressure. I fear all that. I understand the man works hard every day. So it's not that I don't fear him. It's that I will overcome that fear come Saturday, and I will conquer.
Well, this fight is a rematch. You had your chance to fight Diego a few years ago with a decision coming your way. Do you believe the Diego that you faced back in 2014 has evolved to meet you on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think he's evolved 1,000%. I think he has coaching and he has new staff as far as who takes care of him, and it looks like they're a very tight group, and you can see the improvements everywhere. And I'm grateful for that. I wouldn't want to fight the same Diego, because if I fought the same Diego, I'd be fighting. It'd be basically that fight from before, and I don't want that. I want someone new. I'm fighting a new person. This Diego today is not Diego of 2000. I think it was 2014. It's not him. It's just a different guy. You can tell mentally, physically, spiritually, he's a tougher guy. He's improved in all aspects. So I don't even, sometimes I don't even think of this fight as a rematch, to be honest with you.
Well, you've been on a tear the last 2 years, 5 wins, no losses, 4 finishes. You've been a staple for this division the last 7 years. For a lot of fighters, the results would reflect in an eventual title eliminator or higher profile fights. I know you've been asked this throughout the day, but why do you think this hasn't happened for you yet?
Well, we have some of the most eccentric characters in the 155 division. We have some of the most popular guys in the 155 division. So you have to take all the things into consideration. Like I said earlier, it's about risk and it's about reward. And the UFC does what it can to make the highest rewards and take the lowest risks. And the same thing goes with the athletes. If you think about it in terms of pay-per-view, in terms of fans, in terms of all that, I am a high risk. I don't bring in the big numbers. Maybe one day, maybe not. It doesn't matter. But like I understand why the UFC does that. I don't hold it against them. Plus, you know, once you beat everybody, there's no getting around it. But this is why I think it is, because the UFC is basically making smart decisions. They're making the smartest decisions they can for themselves, and as am I. So I think that's why you guys haven't seen me in a title eliminator or in a maybe main event yet. But eventually.
Yeah, hopefully the time will come. Well, Beneil, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Congratulations on the baby for you and your wife. Best of luck on your fight this Saturday.
That's all we have for you today, Beneil. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Woo, that
Up next, we'll be joined by UFC lightweight Clay Guida. We're now joined by UFC lightweight Clay Guida, and we'll take our first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Inside Press.
Hey Clay, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you guys?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you. Clay, I know you signed a new deal in November. I think a lot of people saw that and are just like, man, this guy really is going to just keep fighting forever. How many more fights did you sign on for?
We got another 4-fight deal. Thank you so much to Uncle Dana White and the UFC and all the fans out there that still want us around or don't want us around, because we inked a deal and we're not going anywhere for a while. So I'm happy to give you guys at least 4 more good fights.
You know, I know you get this a million times, so many fights. How does he keep going? Honestly, what's the recovery process? Like, what do you do that you didn't earlier in your career that allows you to still keep at this level, still stay in a top promotion like the UFC this many years in?
That's a great question. I get it quite a bit. You know what I mean? How we get our longevity, our durability, our battle-tested, exterior. And you know what? We're mentally tough. We're wrestlers. We're built differently. We're geared differently. We're wired differently, man. From being in a wrestling room at a young age of, probably 6 years old when I started wrestling and competing, every weekend. You lead a different lifestyle of just always, having to be on and ready to go no matter what, no matter the weather, no matter what season, you know what I mean? You're always ready to go. I played 3 sports growing up, and, we always were just involved in activities. We're always involved in sports. So I didn't really know any better. And there was, I recover a lot better now, so I can keep up with these young bucks. I call them at the gym at, Team Alpha Male, Uriah Faber's Ultimate Fitness. We got these young, these 20-year-olds, these up-and-comers, these guys in their 30s that have fought the who's who at the top echelon of all the weight classes, and we got a stable of them. And I feel great. I feel very competitive. I can hang in there with them, and those guys are the ones that keep me young. They keep me grounded as always. And in order to be able to work out with them day in and day out, man, I got to be on top of my game, man, because and just like with the lightweight, the lightweight class, the lightweight division keeps getting more competitive, and it's such a talent-filled base. I got to be on top of my game every time. So the fact that I help wrestle, I coach wrestling, I'm wrestling all the time. I lead an active lifestyle of fishing, of outdoors, traveling all the time. I just, it's just a mindset. Always be ready to go. That's all we ever knew.
Do you still have the RV, and do you still get it out places?
You know it. I still got the Dude Mobile, and it's waiting for me down in Florida. I just moved there this past summer, and I can't wait to get down there, take a nice road trip, go do some fishing. But yeah, the Dude Mobile is it's in great shape, and you never know, I might be upgrading here in the near future. So I can't wait to get there and just hit the road and see where it takes me.
Sounds like a good time. You fought a ton of guys in your career. Who would you compare Michael Johnson to out of everybody, in your opinion?
Man, that's a tough one. He's very dynamic, striker, got great power, great speed, good footwork. He can wrestle. He can do it all. He's got speed. You know what I mean? That really is a tough one. I would say, I think him and Bobby Green actually have a lot of similarities. They both switch it up, orthodox and southpaw. They got speed in their hands. They got power. They're both very athletic, and they like to move around in there. So I would say right off the bat, and that was my last fight, I kind of let off the gas pedal against Bobby, and we're not going to make the same mistake against Michael Johnson. So yeah, I would have to say, Bobby Green probably the one that exemplifies him the most.
Hey, thanks, Clay, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
We'll take our next questions from Cody Cruz with For to Win MMA. Actually, no, let's go to Martina Saluch with Indicate.
Hello, Clay. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you, miss?
I'm fine, thank you. So I've got 3 questions, not regarding to your next opponent and the UFC gal, but I really need to use this opportunity to talk with you. And first of all, I would like to know who is, in your opinion, the biggest and the most wasted talent in MMA history?
Whoa, the most waste of talent?
Yeah.
That's a tough question. I don't want to be put on the spot. I don't want to get beat up by anybody. Can I maybe come back to that one at the end?
For sure. Okay. Next one. What can you tell to all those people who are saying, Clay, it's time to retire? What's your message for them?
Man, my message is always the same. You know, we go out there and have a great time and put on a show for everybody. And a lot of people say, you know, I tell them, be careful saying you can't teach an old dog new tricks because you might get bit.
Okay, and you're fighting since 18 years, maybe? In Poland, when you are 18, you legally can buy alcohol, so it's like a very serious period of time. I'm wondering, what changes do you see in MMA during this all 18 years? What changes?
Oh, just the level of skill. You know what I mean? Everyone's talented at all of the martial arts disciplines. You know, before it was ever, you know, one person might have been a striker. You know, in Poland, most people are strikers out there. Yeah. Then jiu-jitsu or wrestling. Then you saw like the Frank Shamrocks of the world. He was one of the first ones to be able to kind of put it all together. And now these kids are starting mixed martial arts at 5, 6, 7 years old. Back when I was playing soccer and baseball and football and wrestling, these kids are doing MMA and jiu-jitsu and doing kickboxing classes, you know? So definitely, I got to say, just the evolution of, you know, the skill set and the talent that these young athletes have.
What do you think about women MMA? Is it something what you like to watch or maybe not?
Honestly, it's super, super exciting. I think women are the most beautiful creatures on the planet. I'm really not for them punching each other in the face. That's only because I know how awesome they are. So it's definitely, they're fun to watch, but man, I feel bad for them, and they're too pretty and too smart to be kicking each other's butt. So I'll leave it at that. But their skill level is definitely, I think they've gotten much better quicker than than maybe the male division has in the time that they've been in the UFC. What is this, like 6 years now or 7 years? There've been female fighters in UFC. Male fighters been doing this for UFC has been around since 93 or 95 or something like that. So yeah, the women's skill set is gone through the roof very quickly.
Okay, thank you very much. I will be back with this question about wasted talents for sure.
Okay. I thought about one. I hope I never meet him now. But one of the, and actually, it was definitely a pride guy. And one of my favorite guys to watch. He's just like the big gentle giant, big Bob Sapp. You know, okay. I mean, I never thought that guy could lose in a fight. Then you would see him, you know, go out there against these smaller guys and get submitted or tapped out. But definitely one of my favorite guys to watch, you know, first when he got into mixed martial arts. But I thought he was, you know, able to probably do a lot more just with his size, his strength, his speed and athleticism.
Okay. So I appreciate this answer. Thank you very much, sir. Have a good fight.
Thank you.
We'll take our last set of questions from Frank Bonata with Low Kick MMA.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm very well, Frank. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So I just want to ask you, what's your mentality right now as a fighter? Are you looking at maybe making a break back into the rankings, or are you just looking at these fan-friendly matchups at the moment?
Oh, yeah, that's always the case, you know, to always, you know, look at the pedigree of opponents we've had. We've only fought guys that are either, you know, right around the top 10, just outside of the top 10, veterans in the sport. We've never taken easy fights. You know, we fought anyone the UFC's always matched us up with. And I feel like we've always put on a good show, a good outing. You know, we haven't always gotten our hands raised, but for the most part, you know, they keep having us back and fans keep tuning in. So, yeah, I always want to crack the top, you know, the rankings. But to me, just going out there and, you know, competing in fine fashion and putting on my best performance every time, to me, that's what it's all about right now. Yeah, do I see, you know, a gold in my future? Yeah, it might be a while. You know what I mean? I'm definitely one of the oldest guys in the division, and I'm the most undersized in the division. I have been for quite some time now. But to me, that gives me a lot of pride, and I take a lot of, you know, I'm very happy with that, and it just, you know, makes me push even harder and realize that I can still compete with these guys, man. And once I'm done having fun in the sport, I'll be the first one to hang up the gloves and grab a fishing rod full time.
Okay. Yourself and Michael Johnson are both long established pieces of the UFC roster. Are you surprised you never came across each other as opponents previously at all?
Yeah, if you look at who we've competed against, we've always missed each other by maybe a fight or two. He's fought the who's who. He's been ranked up there probably as high as number 3 or 4. He's fought guys that were contenders. He's fought guys that have been in title fights, title pictures. You know what I mean? So, yeah, to me, it's just another one of these opponents, though, that, look at Jim Miller that I fought recently, Bobby Green. We've all fought, I feel like, the same opponents, just different times in our career. So it's bound to happen. And, man, come Saturday, but ESPN Plus is going to be, they're going to get fight of the night.
Okay, one last from me. Are there any other veteran names that you're looking at potentially?
Oh, I'm 110% focused on this fight right now. Yeah, obviously, everyone knows, there's one that's been, out there for a long time. I'd love to get another rematch with, but I'm focused on what we got going Saturday. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay, thank you, Clay. Good luck.
Thank you.
That's all we have for you today, Clay. Thank you.
All good? Mm-hmm. You guys are the best.
Up next, we'll be joined by number 5 ranked UFC flyweight Alexandre Pantoja. We are now joined by number 5 ranked UFC flyweight Alexandre Pantoja, and we'll take our first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Inside Press.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
So Alexander, this fight was obviously rescheduled from December. Can you tell us what kept you from the fight about 2 months ago?
Yes, it's happening in November. I think COVID, and still out the gym like 3 weeks. And when I'm back to training, I'm feeling real bad. And Question UFC can remark the fight, and that's it. I have more time for recover, and now I'm feeling 100%. And let's go to show.
We know COVID affects people differently, everybody. How long would you say you were feeling the symptoms and not feeling well?
Yes, first I think it's overtrained, but after like 3 days, feel the same, feel like a fever, and I make the test and see, and I still 2 weeks, real bad. One day I'm feeling better, and then another day I'm feeling bad again, and I don't feel a taste and smell, and 2 weeks before the first symptoms, I still test positive, and more couple days I'm test negative and can come back to the gym. But my first train, I'm feel like I'm feeling real bad. Don't can finish my train, and I need like 2-3 weeks to complete my recovery, like 6 weeks bad weeks.
I guess, how did it help you to have the extra time to prepare with the strategy? Because obviously you now get more time to study him and prepare for the fight.
Yes, I don't watch a lot to my opponent. I'm focusing my game, you know. I know he's a striker, he's young, have a lot of power in your hands. But that's it, you know. I don't need to see all the fights. I just focus in my game. I have a good game. I can strike with everyone in my division. I can make the grappler. I never finish. I never suffer a finish, and you know, I'm focusing my game.
Thank you, Alexander, and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll now take some questions from Gavin Porter with UFC.com.
Hey man, so I just wanted to ask you, you know, you're always in very exciting fights. Seems like all your fights are fight at night or really fast paced. What about your style brings that type of fight out of other fights?
I just put everything in the cage, you know. I'm start to fight when I have like 16 years. And those 14 years I'm fighting. My first pro fighter MMA, I have 17. You know, it's a long time, long journey. A lot of people don't know, but I have like 20 wins in Muay Thai. I never lost in Muay Thai fights. You know, I'm lived to fight, you know, all my life. And I like to make a great show, prove myself every fight. And that's it, you know.
And so then I wanted to ask you, you fought the champion, you fought Davidson before. What do you think of the Moreno and Davidson fight?
Definitely, I look to this fight. I'm watching the fight Moreno in Daiko and Davidson. And, you know, Davidson have so much power in your hands and a lot of skills. I like Brando, is a good guy, but definitely it's not same level to Daiko. I think Davidson make his mistakes to put this fight too close, like 2 weeks before he fight again, and he's a heavy flyweight, you know. He need to cut a lot of weight. And I think next fight, Moreno and Daiko, Davidson is not gonna make chance for Brandon. I think it's draw or he'll win.
And then I wanted to ask you, you know, you have the opportunity to, with a big performance, a big win here, to kind of reassert yourself back into that title picture, next in line maybe to fight either Brandon or Daiko. So do you think a big finish over Manel gets you into that picture again?
Yeah, maybe, you know, have so many good guys in flyweight division now. I really like to see that. You have Manel from Ryzen. You have a lot of other guys. I'm watching all the guys. So really excited. And who knows, you know, I'm ready for if I have a good performance on Saturday. I hope so. I'm super ready. I'm calm. I feel relaxed. I like to fight in Vegas. And who knows? But I'm ready. I'm ready to fight the title. If you UFC think I need one more fight, don't you know, whatever UFC want, I'm ready to make my show.
And my last question is, you know, he's a newcomer into the UFC, and obviously he had great success over in Ryzen, and now he's coming here. When someone's new and coming to the UFC for the first time, do you think they experience that different in talent from one promotion to the UFC?
Man, UFC is the first division for the MMA, you know. I think Manel is super excited to make his debut, and I'm happy to fight with him. You know, the first fight. I'm fighting with a former champion for Ryzen's a big show in Japan, and I'm excited for this. You know, prove myself, show it to UFC. I'm deserve my position, and I'm gonna show.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Finish.
Now we have one more for you from Jim Barcelone. You have been unmuted, Jim.
Thank you. I was curious how the training camp went for you. Where did you do your training camp, and how long was camp?
Yeah, I started to November, no, October. October, I'm back to America, and started my training. America Top Team is the first gym in the world. You know, a lot of years is the champion for the gym in the world. You have the best coaches in the game, a lot of good partners, and I feel super ready. It's a good camp, good coach, good partners.
And who did you bring with you, or who are you bringing with you of your training team for this fight? Did they limit you guys, or no? You could bring 3, 4, 5, or as many as you want for your team. I know with COVID, there's a lot of safety restrictions. Just how were there any limits for that, and who is coming with you?
Every time you're gonna see in my corner, my coach Parrumpa is my head coach, Parrupinha. He's the best coach in the game, and my coach, strike coach Macarrão. Definitely, I'm super comfortable with these guys, and that's it.
And then lastly for me, because you mentioned American Top Team, and there are just so many great fighters and great coaches there and in South Florida. What's it been like coming to South Florida, being from Brazil, and there are many Brazilians training there as well, and South Florida is a international area as well. I know you're busy with fighting and training, but how is that climate and transition of being in South Florida?
Man, first time I'm walking Florida, I'm feeling like a Rio de Janeiro, you know. It's the same weather. I'm love living close to the ocean. It's my new house now. You know, you have, and you say you have a lot of Brazilians in the gym, but you have a lot of Russians, you have Japanese guys, you have guys from all the world. It's a nice, small world you have in the gym, you know. A lot of cultures. You have guys pray all the time, you know. And that's it, you know. I love living in Florida. I want to bring my family to live in there, put my kids in the schools, grow in the America. This is my legacy, you know.
Well, we enjoy having you down here for that too, and thank you so much. All the best on the fight.
Thank you.
That's all we have for you today, Alexandre. Thank you.
Right.
We are now joined by UFC featherweight Oscar, and we'll take our first set of questions from Jay Anderson with Gateside Press.
Thanks very much. And Askar, welcome to the UFC.
What's up? How you doing?
Not bad. Congratulations on joining the big show here.
My man, thank you.
No problem. Obviously, a big opportunity in fighting Cody Stamann in your first UFC fight. Were you kind of expecting to get an opportunity to fight this year, maybe on short notice, or was this more of a surprise?
No, I was expecting that. I mean, my record, shows that I was working up to this point. I'm 11-1 now, and I knew it was right around the corner. There was a few times where there were opportunities for me to take it early on, but this was the one where everything connected perfectly.
and give us your thoughts on the matchup with Cody Stamann, because that's a fairly sizable name to get for your debut.
Yeah, hell yeah, it is. He's a tough guy. He's number 9 in the world at bantamweight. He's fought tough dudes. He's fought the title challenger, Aljamain Sterling. He's fought Jimmy Rivera. 2 tough dudes. He has a few other wins in the UFC. You know what I mean? But I don't know. He's a tough wrestler, tough grinder. He's from the Midwest also, so I don't expect nothing but a tough battle with him.
And obviously, like you mentioned, he's ranked number 9 at bantamweight, but for obvious reasons, this is at featherweight. Do you expect the weight difference to impact you much? Do you feel any stronger without the weight cut?
Listen, if you're not cutting weight, you're definitely gonna feel stronger. You know what I mean? I'm happy that my debut is at 45, especially with a week's notice. You know what I mean? It's only fair. And I know he was asking for 45 too. I know there's a few fights where he had where they were talking about how he fought at 45 because it took him a mission to cut to 35. So it's a blessing for me and him. You know what I mean? We're both gonna be fully hydrated. It's gonna be the best Cody, the best Oscar. Full hydration, 145 pounds. It'll be a battle.
And with so little time before the fight, I mean, how do you go about preparing?
Well, I stay ready. You know what I mean? I was training as soon as my last fight was over. 2 weeks after, I was back in the gym, working as hard as I can. I put in nights and weekends for this. You know what I mean? I was looking at my fight shorts yesterday. I got them with my name on them, and I almost teared up looking at it because of how hard I've been working for the last few years just to be able to see that name on those shorts. You know what I mean? And see myself in those UFC gloves in that cage, throwing down. So I'm ready.
Good to hear, man. And last one for me. I mean, just give us your thoughts on making your debut and what you want to show to the fans who might be seeing you for the first time.
I mean, if you've watched me before, you've seen I'm a decent boxer. You know what I mean? I got some decent wrestling skills. I got some good control on top. So I'm excited to display my style. When I enter flow state in most of my fights, I feel like I can take control of the fight. I make people walk into my shots. I make people eat uppercuts, eat hooks, eat jabs. And I'm excited to do that and show that, and it doesn't have to be against just Cody Stamann. I'm excited for my whole UFC career to show that. Every fight that I fight in the UFC, I'm only going to get better. I said that when I was outside of the UFC. I was fighting for LFA, and I said the more cage time I get, the better I get. And that's the same thing here. The more cage time I get in the UFC, the better I'm going to get, the more I'm going to show, the more of a show I get to put on for the fans.
All right, well, looking forward to it. Best of luck this weekend.
Oh, man, thank you.
We'll take our next questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Gateside Press.
Hey, how are you?
How you doing?
All I have for you, I really want to know, so, you're a guy, you're doing your thing on the regional scene and the smaller shows. You get that call to the UFC. How does everybody around you react? Because I got to imagine it must feel like a party the very first time everyone finds out.
Of course. I was actually just thinking in my hotel room right now, I've been getting more DMs than ever, even when I was main eventing LFA, But it is what it is. I know who the people are that started out with me. I know who my coaches are that have been with me since the beginning, my brothers that have been with me since the beginning. And those are the guys that I want to keep around when I have this victory, you know what I mean? When I'm celebrating in the end, those are the guys I want to celebrate with. So everybody else that's jumping on the bandwagon now, they're welcome to jump on because I'm excited for it. But I know who the people that care about me and want me to succeed, who they truly are.
My final question, just when you think about the fight, in your mind, what would be the perfect UFC debut?
Perfect UFC debut is a first-round knockout, obviously, you know what I mean? A beautiful knockout in the first round would be amazing. But to get 15 minutes and to try to put my skill set on him and to get some cage time in the UFC and get used to that rough floor and those gloves and the cameras and the lights and all that, that'd be amazing too, you know what I mean? That's what I'm excited for, to be able to be in front of all that and perform.
Hey, thank you and good luck.
Oh, man, thank you.
We'll take our next questions from Gavin Porter with UFC.com.
What's up, man? It's actually me right here. So, all right. First of all, you just mentioned, you're getting a little teary-eyed, maybe looking at those shorts. Was there a moment when you were like, you know what, during the LFA run and all that stuff, like, I'm gonna make it there. Just keep doing me, and I'm gonna get there.
Yeah, of course. I knew that. You know what I mean? I know what my skill set are. I know what my mindset's at. I know I trust in my training. I believe in my work ethic. I knew it was only a matter of time. You know what I mean? I was grinding so hard, no matter what. I took a loss a couple months back or a year or so back, and a lot of people would let that deter them or knock them off course. But listen, win or lose, I know where I want to be. I want to fight in that cage until the day I can't. And so both my hands are either broken or I can't walk on my 2 feet.
And I'm sure you've heard, stories of fighters that make their UFC debut, and the light's a little too bright, and the moment may be a little too big. You seem like the type of guy who you're just hungry, and you're not going to let that moment kind of overwhelm you. Is that kind of the mental fortitude you have to approach this fight with?
Yeah, I mean, the lights and cameras are cool. That's the special stuff. That's the cool stuff about it, and the fans get to see us. But I started this because of the fight game. I wanted to fight. I want to get into a fist fight with another man and test my skill set. So the cameras are just an added bonus. I like looking at them. I like smiling, you know what I mean? Flexing, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, fighting is what matters.
Yeah, and I think you're in a unique position. Obviously, you've seen, these short notice opportunities come up during the pandemic era, if you will, and having that opportunity is something that maybe fighters previously didn't have with so many people coming in and out of the carbs, things getting mixed up. How important was it for you to stay ready and be one of those guys to first raise your hand and accept a moment like this?
Yeah, I mean, I stay ready. I was in the gym, like I said, since my last fight. So me being in the gym 24/7, weekends, nights, mornings, and afternoons, as much as I can, I was in there working, trying to better my skill set. So seeing it all pay off now is just a huge blessing in itself, and it's gonna be more of a blessing Saturday night when I get to get this victory for my UFC debut.
Last one for me is, some people might think, obviously, you're an underdog coming in, not seeing you before, and obviously Cody's ranked. So when you think about the opportunity and you have nothing to lose, right? This is a win-win for you to be here, and obviously you're going to make the most.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's so much that goes into fighting and politics, but the best thing about fighting is it's just you and him. You know what I mean? We got the same manager. That could play something into it. We got, where he's number 9. This is at 45. A million things. But at the end of the day, we get to go into the cage, and it's me versus him. Nobody else can help him. Dana White can't do nothing. Bruce Buffer can't do nothing. Our manager can't do nothing. His coaches, my coaches. It's just me and him. They got to prove that he's number 9 and that I'm a debut. And I want to see that. I'm gonna try to perform at the best of my abilities, and we'll see how he plays out.
Perfect. Thank you, man.
No, man. Thank you.
That's all we have for you today, Oscar. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Great work.
We are now joined by number 10 ranked UFC lightweight Diego Ferreira, and we'll take our first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Inside Press.
Hello, how are you?
They're good, they're good.
So it's good to see you back. I know that it was a little tough to get you back in the cage after January last year. Just what are the emotions? How does it feel to finally be back a few days from a fight?
That's a good question. I feel awesome, it's a blast to be here, my emotion right now, it's going to the roof, I feel super happy, because after last year, a lot of things happening on pandemic, a lot of personal problems I have through my life too. And now just to be here on this car, on this event, it feels great, feel like it's incredible.
How do you feel you have changed, and how do you feel Beneil has changed since the last fight?
Like for the last fight, I see 6 years ago, we improve a lot in the way we fight, like especially our stand up, our grappling, and all the aspect. We did a lot of work, and now I think we're gonna put so different fight, because the last time it was a short notice fight. He didn't know who I was. 2 weeks before the fight, and now we train for each other. We know the game from each other, and the improvement was so much into both our games. And now I think it's gonna be a totally different fight, and it's gonna be a real fight this time.
I mean, Diego, there's so much going on at lightweight, and with a victory, a lot of people would say you're ready to kind of break into that conversation. I mean, with everything going on, what do you want next if you win?
For right now, I just want to be focused. I want to focus first in Beneil Dariush, because he's a danger fighter. But I already have a couple of names, on my mind. I want to, get this win. First, focus on Saudi, and after Saudi, after the UFC give me the microphone, I gotta let go, and I wanna see all there on Saudi first. I wanna focus 110% on Saudi, February 6th.
Hey, thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Take our next set of questions from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
Hey, Diego, can you kind of put into words for me the mindset and the physical changes you've undergone since those 2 losses you experienced to Beneil and Dustin Poirier in back-to-back fights? You haven't lost since then. You've gone on this incredible run. What do you feel like has been the biggest difference between those 2 fights and who you become today?
The biggest difference, what I used to be, what I am now, I was just a totally just a jiu-jitsu fighter. You can see in my last fights. Yeah, I used to have the heart to go in there and throw punches, but I didn't know how or exactly the timing to throw punches. Now I work on those points, like especially my boxing, my wrestling. Is my last 2 losses, bring a lot to me to be more MMA fighter. I used to be just a jiu-jitsu fighter. Now I'm a mixed martial art fighter, because now I work on my wrestling and my boxing, and my jiu-jitsu is still, and still in work. But now I'm a really MMA fighter now. I'm really mixed martial art fighter, because I was on the beginning when my first loss to Beneil by decision, second loss to Poirier, by TKO. It was really, took a lot out of me, and I started. I used to take care of my own camp before, like you cannot do that. It's really hard for an athlete. If you want to get to the level I want to be, you have to be training to somebody. You have to be you have to follow the rules
to be on the top, and that's what I changed complete on that. Like now I work with Coach Safe, for the last 4 fights, 6 fights, sorry, 6 fights, and it just made me a better fighter, like especially my wrestling coach, my Muay Thai coach, my boxing coach. I put the work, I put the 110% on that, and now it's gonna be the difference on that.
Absolutely. You got the big win over Anthony Pettis, which was such a statement for you to beat a former champion. You break into that top 10. And I know at that point you wanted, higher ranked opponents. Now I know based on the current rankings, Beneil is behind you, but is there a certain satisfaction getting this fight just because it is a chance to avenge a past loss?
For sure, like I'm treated like a normal, like another fight, like it's a year I've been waiting for this moment, to step in on the octagon again, and now having a rematch with somebody where it beat me, it just I take it like a just another fight, but it's push you to another level, it make you more smart, make you work on exactly what you need to work. Yeah, he's under me, yeah, but I don't take him. He's really been on a rank. He's a high level fighter, and I think this is a different step for me. It's a good step to make sure I deserve to be on the top 10, and that's what I'm looking right now. I'm looking like to get through this fight and reach it for the top 5.
Absolutely. And I know you said you're not looking past Beneil. You have a couple ideas in mind of who you want next, but I know that there, has been a little bit of frustration from some of the guys ranked where you're at, that we have these top 4 or 5 guys, they're all kind of fighting each other, and it kind of takes away the ability of a guy like yourself to kind of crack into that top 5. Is there any frustration with that? Would you like to see the matchmakers maybe mix things up a little bit, maybe after this fight, to give you a Justin Gaethje or one of those guys, so we don't, so you actually have the opportunity to get in that top 5? Because it just feels like a lot of times those opportunities just aren't there.
Yeah, I'm really looking for a big fight, like anybody else can look for a big fight. But right now, my focus is on the Beneil, the way you're saying, I want to get to the big fights, the lightweight division. It's been, all those guys fighting on each other on the top. Some have a 2 loss, some have a loss already. I don't know how they're going to do, but for me, I'm looking to get there, and I think passing through the Dariush will have another fight for me. I'll be satisfied with that, because I want to be there too. I want to be with the big sharks, I want to, fighting for the piece of gold, and I gotta get there. I think 1 or 2 more fights. I really think like very soon I'll be on the top 5.
Last one for me, Diego. With Khabib retired, we need to crown a new champion, it seems like. In your opinion, who do you think should be fighting for the title? If you were playing matchmaker, should it be Dustin Poirier and somebody else? Who do you believe should be fighting for the title next?
You cannot, like, I think for me, is Poirier and Oliveira, they need to fight for the title. I think those 2 guys been so much active on the division. You cannot take in this for both, and for me, on my opinion, those 2 guys need to be fighting for the title if Khabib really get out.
Thank you, Diego.
Thank you.
That's all we have for you today, Diego. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Great. Thank you.
Up next, we'll be joined by number 2 ranked UFC bantamweight Cory Sandhagen. We're now joined by number 2 ranked UFC bantamweight Cory Sandhagen, and we'll take our first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Stateside Press.
Hey, Cory, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Big fight, high stakes. Can you just describe how you're feeling going into this one on Saturday?
Yeah, normal. Just getting ready to fight, catering the mind towards what it needs. And, it's a big fight. It has big implications. It could mean a title shot after this one. So taking it super serious and making sure that I'm ready to go.
After that win over Marlon, it felt like there were just so many options for you. People were throwing out names and everyone was like, yeah, that would make sense and it'd be a great fight. Was Frankie the first guy they offered you, or was there a process on how you guys settled on him as your next opponent?
So after my last fight, I called out TJ Dillashaw and I called out Frankie Edgar because, those are kind of the two guys that are at the top with Garbrandt going down to 125. So that was the idea behind that. After that, I kind of realized TJ's probably, would maybe do a little bit more for whatever, for popularity. And, that's how the game works a little bit now. Not that Frankie doesn't, but just being who TJ was in the division, he's a big name. And so that's why I wanted more. I don't know why it didn't happen. I tried to, make it happen and it didn't, but I have Frankie now in front of me, and Frankie's, I would say equally as tough opponent. And all focus is on Frankie.
Do you worry at all about having to be impressive because you have guys like Dominic Cruz going to fight soon? TJ Dillashaw is likely to be scheduled. Do you worry about, I got to really stop this guy and make it look good? Or do you tune a lot of that out?
No, I tune all of that out. All I care about is winning, man, and I think I'm dynamic enough and athletic enough and fun enough to watch where I don't really need to stress about all of those things. My style just by nature is, exciting to watch. So I don't really, none of that really crosses my mind ever.
My final question, you got a lot of attention for your walkout music choice last time. What do we have planned for this Saturday?
Same thing. Yeah, same thing. I think it's, I was going to change it, but then I started listening to it again. And, you go through a lot of moods when you're getting ready for a fight. So when I listen to that one, man, it really puts me in a place to hurt someone. And that's what you need to do when you're going into a fight.
Hey, I get it, man. Thank you, Cory. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Chris Decker with Alpha.
Hi, Cory, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi. Earlier this week, we published an interview with Andy Sauer about your time in the Netherlands. I don't know if you remember that time, and what do you remember about this time in the Netherlands?
Yeah. So I went and did with the WKA, the World Kickboxing Association. I was on the U.S. team for them in 2014, I think. And I went out there for the World Championship tournament that I ended up winning. And then afterwards, Dwayne Ludwig, who I used to train with a little bit, knew Andy Sauer. Andy Sauer was someone that I looked up to my entire, kickboxing journey. And I asked if he could link us up. And so I went out to visit Andy once in 2014, and then I think again in 2016. But yeah, I love that guy. He's helped me a lot, and he's just a really fun guy to be around. And yeah, me and him are good friends now.
Because he really took you under his wing, and he showed you around his town, Den Bosch, if I remember correctly. You even celebrated Carnival, if I'm right. What do you remember about the time in the Netherlands?
Yeah. I was. What did we do? We ate every single type of food that the Netherlands has to offer. We went to 11/11. I think your guys' Carnival is in February or something, I believe. But we were in. So I was there for 11/11, and that was a lot of fun. Andy has a huge family, so hanging out with his family was really fun. And I got to know all those guys, the Dutch people, learned a lot about them, and it was a good experience. Me and Andy are good buds.
Yeah, do you still keep in contact, and do you still ask for pointers and still asking for advice?
Occasionally. I got to make another trip out there. I was hoping to go sometime last year. visit there and then visit a kickboxing coach that I know in Serbia also. But I was going to hopefully do that this year. But, when things clear up, yeah, I definitely plan on going and visiting Andy again.
All right. Thank you very much. That's all for me. Good luck this Saturday.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Sumit Data with Sports Data.
Hi, Cory. Hope you're doing well.
Yep, thank you.
So you're facing a veteran, a former champion in Frankie Edgar this weekend. And I know being a fighter, your job is to prioritize every fight. But I'm just curious, in the back of your mind, does it distract you from knowing that you're in prime position to fight for the belt next? Or are you completely willing to put your title aspirations aside for the moment?
It's in the back of my mind, of course, but there's a lot of things in the back of my mind that I don't really like listening to. But I'm good enough now, and I'm seasoned enough now to kind of be able to push that stuff away. So for me, it's all about Saturday. Obviously, I think past that, just naturally being a human and thinking of the future has helped us all survive for a really long time. So it's hard to go against that impulse, but I'm locked in on Saturday.
So with your fight this weekend and with a potential title fight right around the corner, how do you envision your 2021 playing out?
Yeah, I want to fight the winner, Sterling and Jan, in July, and then I want to defend the belt this year at the end of the year. So that's what my 2021 looks like, and hopefully it'll go that way.
So I asked this to Frankie earlier today as well, and wanted to get your thoughts as well. With TJ Dillashaw set to return to the UFC, do you believe he'll be thrown right into the mix with the top guys and be in title contention right away? Or how do you see his return playing out?
I hope he doesn't get a title contention shot right off the bat. I think that, the guy is coming off a 2-year suspension from not like a soft drug, like EPO is a serious drug, and I don't think that he should just come back and fight for the title just because he has a big name. I think that give him anyone. I asked for him after my last fight and didn't get him, so I don't really know what's going on, and who knows what's going to happen with that. I don't think it should happen, if you want my opinion about it, but I stay focused on me. I do good in this fight. I think I fight for the belt, no doubt, in July.
So you mentioned the bantamweight title fight between Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling. How do you see that fight playing out between those two?
I've been changing my mind every time I've been asked this week. So we'll go with Sterling this time around. Sterling, I think, just has he has a pretty unorthodox style, and he has really, really great grappling. And I think I don't really know how great Jan is at grappling. I think Jan strikes really well, but it's pretty orthodox. There's nothing really too crazy about it. So I don't know, though. If you ask me next week, I might change my mind and say Jan. So I think that one's kind of a coin toss. It's a super interesting matchup. And I'm really actually excited to watch this fight.
So you mentioned the walkout music thing a bit earlier, and your nickname happens to be the Sandman. Are you a Metallica fan somehow?
I don't know, define fan, I don't think I'm not crazy about Metallica. I don't go around wearing their t-shirts, but I do like Metallica. But no, man, I'm more of a rap guy. I like Biggie. I like all the kind of that older school generation of rap, Wu-Tang, Tribe Called Quest, all of those guys.
Well, I look forward to your fight this weekend, and good luck to you, sir.
Cool, thanks, man.
We'll take our next set of questions from Nikita Gorshin with Sports Express.
Cory, big pleasure to speak to you. Cory, Aljamain Sterling breaking down your fight with Marlon Moraes pointed very interesting thing that when you hit his liver with your punch, you were not afraid of his counter, that hook and overhand. I wonder why, because you believed in your speed, or because that shoulders protect you from that big overhand and hooks?
I think when you're breaking down fights and you're trying to talk technically about things in fighting, it's a lot of the invisible stuff that you don't see that is what's working, and I think that especially in grappling, I think that that's huge, but also in striking. So I think in that circumstance, when when I go to the body, it's typically when I see that they're, just slightly off balance and that they're not able to counter as quick as they can. Most of the times that I do most of my offensive attacking, it's when they're out of position and when they're just, even for half a second or they give me just a little bit of an inch. I know when it's kind of safe to attack and when it's not safe to attack for the most part. I still get hit, but for the most part, that's kind of what's happening. So when I do go to the body, it's timed in a way where they're not in a position where they can counter super hard, and I know everyone knows that I like to go to the body with that left hook, and I still have yet to be countered really hard by it. And I think the reason is just because it's those little invisible small things that, it's really hard to watch on the outside and tell what's actually happening.
Cory, you some kind of inheritor of this Dominic Cruz footwork conception, footwork system. How do you think this Dominic Cruz footwork system still works nowadays, considering calf kicks entering the chat, or it's maybe a little bit outdated and old-fashioned? How do you think?
No, I think with calf kicks now, I think moving your feet is actually more important. I think checking those low kicks is very hard when they're trying to kick you in the calf. You can't get your shin on it. And the best answer is to get your entire body out of the way. And in order to do that, you have to have good footwork. So, that's what I teach my guys. So I think in the future, what we're going to see here coming up is we're going to see guys not even bothering trying to check those or whatever, or people are either going to crowd them or they're going to get all the way out of the way of the kicks.
Cory, my last question. How do you think who right now top three the most technical guys in your division in terms of striking? Who three the most technical?
I guess it depends how you define technical. If you define technical by they have their fundamentals really sound, where their hands stay by their face and, they keep their bodies underneath them and, they throw proper punches, I would probably say it's maybe, Jan's up there. Frankie's really technical. And then, I think Pedro throws wide sometimes, but he defensively keeps his hands in a pretty safe place. But that's kind of, if you define technical in that way, I think everyone has their own style and people do things, differently based off of what they're capable of, their bodies doing and just, their reaction times and their quickness and all of that stuff. So if that's what you mean by technical, I'd probably say those are maybe the top three. But if you define technical by, just having solid fight skills, it probably wouldn't be those three.
Cory, one question about Peter Yan. How do you think, what makes him special? Because he didn't throw leg kicks a lot and he has that economical style. He doesn't have a really big output. How do you think, what makes him special?
I think he plays it more or less safe, he opens up and tries to crack you really hard, but I think he has a pretty safe game. He likes to stay at a range that I think most people are really uncomfortable with, wearing small gloves, which I think gives him a really big advantage. So I think that, if there's anywhere that and he's just really well-rounded at everything. So I would say if there's anywhere that's where he's really good, I think that's probably where he's pretty good. But at the same time, you can't bring up Jan without me, bashing him a little bit too, because that's, a little bit of my job. But I don't think that he's had super high level competition. The guy got a title shot off of Faber. He fought Aldo, and Aldo is definitely, one of the greats. And those first two rounds were really close against Aldo. And, so who really knows what separates him, because he hasn't fought as tough a guys as some of the rest of us.
Thank you very much, Cody. Best luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take our last set of questions from Pablo Santamaria with MMA Ecuador.
Hi, Cory, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, the first thing I want to ask you is, you're facing a legend of the game like Frankie Edgar. Where do you think a victory over him puts you in?
I think it puts me in the title shot. I don't think that there's really anyone else. Like, I think that TJ's coming off suspension. He shouldn't even be in the conversation. The guy needs a win. He hasn't fought in over 2 years now. And let alone it wasn't even in our division that he was fighting in. There's that. And then there's Garbrandt, who said he's going down to 25. If Garbrandt's not in the conversation, because his knockout against Sal was super impressive. And he has a lot of backing with the fans and stuff. So if Garbrandt's not in the conversation, then it's only me and Frankie who are in that conversation. Font's new to the top 5, and I think Font has a lot of skills, but, you know, he's only got 1 win. And you know, that's the state of the division. I think the winner, me and Frankie, should get the title shot 100%.
For sure, for sure. But what are your thoughts when Pierre said that he's interested in facing TJ if he passed Aljamain? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know I don't know his thinking behind that, you know, and I can kind of see it. I see the argument, like, if he beats Sterling beat me sometime last year, then maybe he should, you know, like that's kind of hard. That's a tough sell for me a little bit, but you know what? Like, I think it's a tougher sell bringing TJ back after 2 years of being suspended off of some of the most serious, you know, PEDs that you can use in the sport. That's a really tough sell to me too. I think the only reason that he wants TJ is because TJ hasn't fought in 2 years. He's not going to be on steroids anymore. And he's getting a little bit older. You know, I don't think that he really wants to fight a tough guy that doesn't have the same fandom as he does. And I think that that's me. And I think that I'm the tougher fight. But I think TJ is probably, you know, quote unquote, the bigger fight. And that's kind of how the game works a little bit. So I see why he's doing it. But at the same time, like, I'm the tougher fight.
Talking about the fight, where do you think Frankie is more dangerous because he's a complete fighter?
Yeah, I think Frankie's an interesting fighter in the sense that, like, he's not necessarily this guy that's going to put out really huge highlight reel knockouts or submissions or I mean, takedowns even, I would say. Like, he's just really solid everywhere, and the guy just really knows how to win rounds. And that comes from a lot of experience. He's been in the UFC probably just as long as like since the first day I walked into my first MMA gym. So that comes with its own, you know, its own challenges, you know, and it comes with a lot of experience for him. And I think he's good. Now that I'm rambling about that, I forgot what your question was.
That where he's more dangerous at.
Oh, yeah. Where is he most dangerous? I think he's dangerous everywhere, but he's most dangerous because he's really good at winning and he's really good at playing the actual game of MMA, where he's not, you know, he's not the most dangerous guy, definitely dangerous, but he doesn't have a ton of submissions. He doesn't have a ton of knockouts. I think he's dangerous in the sense that, like, the guy really knows how to win rounds, and in a 3-round fight, you only have to win 2 of those, and 2 rounds is, you know, 10 minutes is not a lot of minutes to have to win. And I think that that's where he brings the most challenge.
For sure. Do you think this is the most important fight of your career? And what's your prediction for this fight?
I mean, to date, every fight is the most important fight of the career. I know that sounds corny, but you know, I think it was important that I beat Moraes. I think it was important, you know, each fight is unique and each one is, you know, a little bit of a nicer notch on the belt and stuff. I think Frankie will be a huge name to add onto my resume that I'm really excited about. I can already, you know, I really like winning. I really hate losing, and I know that people say that, but I'm a pretty flat guy emotionally. But winning is something that really, really, you know, picks me up, and I love it. And so every single fight, I want to win tremendously bad.
Okay, and the prediction, how do you see winning this fight?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a really hard one. If it's like a, you know, if you want me to speculate on it and just give you a guess, I think, you know, let's just say I knock him out in the first minute. That's my answer every single time to that question is, how do I see the fight going? I knock him out in the first minute.
Okay, and would you like to send a message to your Ecuadorian fans?
To which fans?
Ecuadorian from Ecuador.
Oh, yes, yes. Ecuador, thank you guys for the support. I hope that you guys are watching on February 6th. We really appreciate it, and all the best.
Thank you very much, Cory, and good luck on the fight.
Thanks, man.
That's all we have for you today, Cory. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Up next, we'll be joined by UFC lightweight Michael Johnson. We are now joined by UFC lightweight Michael Johnson, and we'll take our first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Stateside Press.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
Hey, Gabriel, good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking, man. Michael, been in the UFC a minute, taking on another veteran. I mean, how does this one feel different compared to your fights in the past?
Yeah, the only thing that feels different right now is my mindset. I'm in a completely different mindset. I'm going into this fight nice and relaxed and refreshed, and I'm excited to fight. Clay's a great guy. I've always said he's a pioneer in the sport, future Hall of Famer in my book, and I'm excited to get in there and share some hands with him.
When you got a guy like Clay and there's so much film, so many of his fights are out there, right? Where do you even start when it comes to breaking him down? Do you look at the old stuff? Do you only focus on recent with your coaches? How does it work?
We only look at the recents. We look at some of the old ones that we compare, but you're only good as your last fight, so they say. So I kind of want to stay and look around and see what he's been doing his last few fights. Nothing really has changed much. He's still the same grinding fighter. And we have practice and we've prepared to beat that.
How do you get the job done this Saturday?
Any way that presents itself. That's how I'm going to get the job done. I'm always in there looking for knockouts, as you guys know, and that's going to be on my mind. But the more important thing is getting a win, and I'm very prepared to start fast and continue that way.
Hey, thank you, Michael. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Nikita Gorshin with Sport Express. Nikita, your line has been unmuted. I think we're having some technical issues there. I'll jump to Santiago Santaj with 85.
Michael, greetings from Amsterdam. I have two short questions for you. Is Henry Hooft going to be in your corner on fight night? And what kind of influence has Henry had on your fight career?
Henry's a great coach, that we've been in this game from the very beginning, ever since he came over to the States. But unfortunately, he's not going to be in my corner. I've made some changes, and I'm no longer down in Florida full time. And, it's just time for me to just make some changes. You know what I'm saying? He's always in my corner spiritually, and he'll be there, in spirits cheering me on. And, that's where that is.
Thank you for the time and good luck on fight night, Michael.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Chris Decker with Talpa.
Hi, Michael. How are you doing?
Good, good. How you doing?
Clay Guida is a veteran of the game. You're known for your speed. Is that something that we really see? Like, all right, that's where I have my advantage.
Absolutely. I've always used my speed to my advantage, and that's definitely one thing that's going to be a huge aspect of me getting the win Saturday night. I've gotten faster, I've gotten stronger, my footwork has gotten better, and I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to win.
You just talked about making some change in your coach. Why aren't you working with Henry anymore, Henry Hooft?
Oh, it's no big reasons. I just, some fighters get at a point in their career where they just need a little bit of a change and some different looks. He's done wonders to my career. He's done wonders to my game, as everybody knows, and we'll always have that tight bond and relationship. It's just, I just need to get different looks.
But what are the different looks you had, and with who have you started working?
Oh, well, I've gotten back, with my great coach, Mike Van Arsdale, and I'm just trying to build around myself, and do things for myself, get exactly what I need. And, that's it. Just small, minor changes. Me getting out of the state of Florida was another big change. I was probably getting too comfortable and too content, and I just needed to, get out of that space, start over fresh.
Was there something wrong with Florida, or was it just more of like just a new beginning?
Just a new beginning, but also Florida is not one of the best states in this country, I hate to say. And the big thing is just a lot of distractions down there. Too comfortable knowing everybody, having a name. It's kind of easy to get distracted away from the main goals, and that's me becoming a world champion. And I know some other guys, can do it and stay down there, but the guys that can do it, have a great home life, a great, good family, good wife or girlfriend, and fortunately I'm not one of those guys, and, I just needed to get out.
So were you like, I wanted to get out of Florida, or were you like, I want to go to a certain place with your new coach where Mike Van Arsdale now is?
Just, get out of Florida. I don't really think that the whole team atmosphere benefits me as much at this point anymore. I love being a part of a team. I love being part of a great team. But at the end of the day, I'm realizing that it's important. Everything needs to be done for myself, and I need to become successful and just build around me.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Dane Martin with MMA Fighting.
Hey, Michael. Obviously, going into this fight, there's always something to prove, and you've always been a kind of brutally honest guy with your own career. Going into this fight with Clay Guida, what do you feel like you are trying to prove in a fight like this?
I got to prove that I'm still capable of becoming a world champion. That's what it is. I'm finally growing in my mind, and that's been a huge thing, a huge change for me over this past year. And like I've said before, maybe early in my career, I wasn't mentally ready to become a world champion, but now I am. So I have to go in this fight and prove to myself and prove to everyone else that, I still have that capability of becoming that.
I know you've answered some variation of this question numerous times, but I'm gonna ask it again in a slightly different way. You've had these fights where you have wins over guys like Dustin Poirier, who a lot of people would consider as kind of the uncrowned champion right now, with Khabib retired. You had that battle with Justin Gaethje. You've had those fights where you're so close, and then something has gone wrong or whatever, and you've lost it. What do you feel like is the difference to get over that hump, to have that moment? Because I know it doesn't make it any easier that you had a very close fight with Justin Gaethje. You wanted to get a win. But what do you feel like is the difference to kind of get over that hump?
Me being mentally strong, not allowing myself to get caught up in certain positions or losing focus, that's what it's been. So now I'm fully prepared. I'm going into these fights, maybe I was training my body so much and I was forgetting the most important muscle in our body, and that's our mind. So I've really focused on building that, getting stronger, staying focused, and that's going to be the key to getting over this hump.
You talk about the mentality, though, knowing that you're a guy who did, knock out Dustin Poirier, did go to war with Justin Gaethje, did have those kind of fights. Does that also give you confidence knowing that you are, just a matter of a few tweaks and changes away from making that run, being able to make that run at the top of the division?
Absolutely. It gives me great hope in the aspect that I'm really not going to start from the bottom here. I string together a few good wins. Me being, the fighter I am, and these guys that I've beaten and the guys that I've had close wars with, it's going to be, pretty simple to get those fights back. I just need to show the powers that be and everybody else that, hey, I'm still here and I'm still willing to get this world title.
And last one for me, you mentioned the change in your training camp. It sounds a little bit more like you're doing kind of like a little bit of the boxing mentality where it's more focused on you versus the team. And obviously it's different strokes for different folks in terms of what works for them. But do you feel like that has been a big difference where you've kind of put the focus back on you as the centerpiece of the camp versus, a team where there are, 20 guys all training for fights at the same time?
Yeah, I think that's made a huge difference. You know what I mean? Like I said, I had all the love in the world for those guys and all the respect, but at the end of the day, it's an individual sport, and you have to do what you have to do for yourself at the end of the day. And, unfortunately, it kind of hurts not to – I don't want to say I could completely split ways from these guys. I'm just doing things that I need to do to get the job done.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
That's all we have for you today, Michael. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Up next, we'll be joined by number 5 ranked UFC heavyweight Alistair Overeem. We're now joined by number 5 ranked UFC heavyweight Alistair Overeem, and we'll take our first set of questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Deepside Press.
Alistair, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you for asking. Alistair, I want to ask you about some of your biggest moments, highlights from your career, both in and out of the cage. I know I'm a little late on this one, but I think a lot of fans always wanted to know, how did you end up in the music videos from LMFAO? Sexy and I Know It and Sorry for Party Rockin'.
That's a long time ago. That's 2010, 11, 12-ish. Okay, so I was in LA at the time and just happened to be there for other stuff. And then one of the LMFAO guys is a huge fan. And we have some mutual friends. So they kind of put us together with the guy that had there on the set. And I just went there to say hi. And then it was like, oh, yeah, cool. Come in the video clip. And then before I know it, I was in the video clip. But that was like, yeah, both times.
I mean, I think a lot of fans were like, you know, one of the most unexpected cameos by a UFC fighter at the time. And we never really got the story of how it came together. Recently, people are saying Michael Chandler had the best UFC debut 2 weeks ago, but then a lot of people argue, what about Overeem against Brock Lesnar? So I just want to ask your opinion. I mean, you were there. Do you feel you had the best UFC debut?
Definitely better than Michael Chandler. All respect to Michael and his performance, but yeah, I don't think you can compare those two fights, right? Alistair Overeem versus Brock Lesnar 2011, or Michael Chandler versus Dan Hooker. I don't think you can make a comparison between those two.
What do you remember most about that fight in particular? Because there was so much attention, obviously his WWE stardom, and then at the time you were coming in, you had all those belts from all the different organizations. What do you remember years later about that whole
I remember
experience?
everything very clear. And besides, we have the Reem, my online documentary, is doing that. I think it's season 2 finale, I think. So we got you, if you want to go and check that out, it's going to be on there, right? So, yeah, there was like a lot of things going on. It was crazy. You know, I came off with the Verdun win, and then before that, the K1 Grand Prix win, and the Dream win, the Dream title win. And yeah, it was a very hectic time. A lot of moving parts. I was moving to the States. Fans everywhere. I couldn't walk normal in Vegas. I got just chased by fans. And yeah, it was a crazy time. I'm actually happy that it's not as hectic anymore, and it's kind of like a little bit more calm and soothing.
Final question, just how do you see yourself getting the win against Volkov this Saturday?
Well, I'm not going to talk about the fight, but I do see myself winning. I do see myself dominating him everywhere, stand-up and ground. And yeah, one outcome only. My hands raised.
Hey, thank you, Alistair. Good luck.
We'll take our next set of questions from Santiago Santos with 85.
Hi, Alistair. Greetings from Amsterdam. I will ask one question in English and then one question in Dutch. First of all, your last 4 wins all came by serious ground and pound finishes. Is that the game plan again, Alistair, to bring the fight to the mat when the moment presents itself and do some damage there?
When the moment is there, we're probably going to take him down and give him some J and P.
En de last question for me in Dutch. Goedemiddag, Alistair. Je staat alweer klaar voor jouw 5e main event op rij. En het lijkt erop dat je nog lang geen gas terug aan het nemen bent. Dit gevecht met Volkov zou passend zijn geweest voor een grote UFC-show in Amsterdam. Helaas is dat door de situatie nu niet mogelijk. Is dat wel iets wat nog hoog op jouw verlanglijstje staat, Alistair? Om een groot gevecht naar Amsterdam toe te halen en om een prachtige walkout te doen in jouw eigen stad, met jouw eigen fans achter je?
Jazeker. Corona heeft veel roet bij heel veel mensen in delen gegooid. Gelukkig vechten bij de UFC wel door. Het is even afwachten nu. Natuurlijk, als ik in Nederland vecht, dan wil je natuurlijk publiek erbij hebben. Op dit moment is er geen publiek mogelijk. Ik denk dat het nog wel even gaat duren. Maar goed, gelukkig kunnen we in Vegas en Abu Dhabi vechten. En ja, zodra het weer mogelijk is, dan gaan we ervoor. Hè?
Heel erg bedankt voor de tijd, Alistair. En veel succes op Fight Night. Thank you so much.
We'll take our next set of questions from Damon Martin with MMA Fighting.
Hey, Alistair, I don't want to open on a sore subject, but I want to ask the question. I know after your last fight, you've been looking for that rematch with Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Obviously, you got Alexander Volkov. I'm sure there's nothing against Volkov, but you're fighting in February. Jairzinho is fighting later this month. Was there any disappointment that they didn't match you two up again?
Well, he didn't want to take the fight, so yeah, then we move on, right? That's it.
Did they offer him the fight?
He didn't want the fight.
Do you, at this point, will you chase it any further with him?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I'm more focused on me than on running after. You know, he already didn't want to fight me, so yeah. What can you do?
Yeah. I know you've said a lot about, making this final run towards the UFC title, and obviously you've been on a good win streak right here. Does that, you faced so many pressure situations in your career, the K1 tournament, all the things you've done, but does that raise the intensity, raise the pressure in these fights, knowing, what you said about, towards the end of your career, making this final run? Does that raise the intensity at all?
What exactly?
Like, does that raise the pressure in this fight? You basically said, you're making this final run, you're going to make this last run at the title. Does that raise the pressure in every single fight you have right now?
No, not really. Listen, I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying the walkout, the fight, and everything that comes with it. So there is not really pressure, and I think that pressure also doesn't improve your performance. So there wouldn't be any pressure. Of course, the pressure is always kind of there, but I'm just enjoying it.
I know you have had a lot of great training partners and a lot of great teammates over the years, but I talked to your teammate Curtis Blades about a week ago, and he just raves about working with you and how much he loves, enjoys working with you, how much you've added to his striking game and how much he's helped you as much as you need, he actually said that he doesn't know how much he can add to your ground game. You're pretty good on the ground already, but obviously he fought Volkov pretty recently. How much did he add to this training camp, and how much has it meant to have Curtis as a teammate? Because he speaks your praises pretty constantly.
Yeah, Curtis is great. He is one of my best training partners ever. Very humble giant. I do believe we lift each other up. And yes, he fought Volkov, so of course there's going to be some tips and some pointers there. And yeah, other than that, we push each other in a positive way.
Last one for me, as you mentioned, you're making this final run at the title. Are you showing patience in that run? And the reason I ask that question is because obviously we know we got Stipe and Ngannou fighting in March, and then Jon Jones is supposed to get the next title shot. Obviously, your teammate Curtis Blades is right there as well. I mean, are you willing to show patience for this title shot, knowing it may take a couple, 3 more fights depending on how this plays out?
Let's fight Saturday and see what happens there, and then afterwards we'll talk again.
Thank you, Alistair.
We'll take our next set of questions from Sumit Data with Sports Guida.
Hey, Alistair, welcome back, and hope you're doing well.
Yes.
So you've said that this will be a final run for a shot at the title. You're coming into this fight on the back of 2 big wins. How many more wins do you think you're going to need to get that title shot?
I believe after this win we can start talking about it. So this one, maybe 2.
Now, there has been a lot of talks of Jon Jones possibly fighting for the title later this year. If you go on to win this many fights, do you somewhat fear that the UFC might give him the shot ahead of yourself?
Yeah, I mean, that could happen. There could be some waiting involved. I don't know, right? Nobody knows. Let's just focus on Saturday and see what happens.
So the next heavyweight title fight, as we know, will be between Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou at UFC 260. You faced both men in the past. What are your predictions for that fight?
I could see maybe Stipe taking it again, but either, both are tremendous athletes, so it can go either way.
And last question for me. You mentioned recently that if you win the belt, you would retire immediately, retire. By that, did you mean that you're going to retire inside the octagon itself, or do you plan on holding the belt for a few weeks and then eventually, vacate the title?
I don't know yet. Good question, though, but I don't know yet.
Okay, I look forward to fight this weekend, and good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. Who's?
We'll take our next set of questions from Nikita Korsman with Sport Express.
Alistair, hello. The big honor speak to you. Alistair, I'm very good, thank you. Alistair, you have 11 fights with Russian fighters and 8 wins. Can you recollect the most memorable one?
I mean, Igor Vovchanskian, right? Alexei Oleinik. What's the guy's name? Orlovsky was there. It's been a lot of Russians in the United. You talk about it. It's been a lot of Russians.
Alistair, you probably the best knee striker in MMA history. You have 11 knockouts with that amazing knee, stepping knee to the body. How you developed such amazing technique? It's a Netherlands school, or what's the secret?
Well, it's a Muay Thai knee, right? Originally from Thailand. But I used to have this Dutch coach, Lucien Carbin, and he had all the Muay Thai techniques. So I would train a lot of knees with him. But before that, I already had some knees, a lot of knee victories. So yeah, just always train my knees.
What openings do you special need to land this knee?
Well, it's good from the clinch, but also when you're punching and then throw the knee unsuspected, it's also effective.
Alistair, you have that some really interesting tendency to lose fights when you win them, and against fighters that you much more high class. That Antonio Bigfoot fight, Travis Brown fight, and Ben Rothwell fight, you much more skillful guy than them. How do you think? It's some mental, or why you lost that fight you should must win? How do you think?
Well, listen, fighting is fighting. There's an X factor. Anything can happen. In general, I believe I win 80% of all my fights. So we're still good there. But listen, it's a real fight. Things can happen. You can actually lose a fight. There's no guarantees for me.
Alistair, do you remember such a Russian fighter, Yuri Kochkin? You have 2 fights with him in rings, and he won this fights. Do you remember him?
I do.
Believe it or not, I have interview with him 1 week ago, and that wins overuse for him so much important that in his application WhatsApp on mobile phone, in his photo profile, he has screenshot from your fight, and when ref raised his hand. Just imagine how this win's important for him, and he remembers the meeting with you in Yekaterinburg after the fight. Some cups of beer, and he said that you're an amazing person, and he would dream to communicate with you, but he doesn't know no English, no Dutch. So maybe some warm words for him. You know, he will be very happy to listen to that.
Yeah, say hello to him. And is he still in Yekaterinburg?
Yes, he lives in Yekaterinburg. He's now 56 years old. He's a karate coach.
Yeah, tell him I will come looking and visit him sometime. Probably after COVID, so probably next year. But I will come to visit him. A very respectful gentleman, and it was an honor to have shared the ring not once but twice with him.
Alistair, you have 3 ground and pound wins in your last 5 wins. It's because you moved to Team Elevation, or why your ground and pound became so terrifying?
I kind of always liked it, but Team Elevation really likes the ground and pound. So yeah, we do train a little bit.
Alistair, your last submission win was in 2009. How hard work you now on your submissions, and what submissions you like the most on this period of your career?
Yeah, we have submissions. We train them, but I don't know, for some sort of reason, you know, it takes 2 to tango. Your opponent must also cooperate with the submission. And yeah, I don't know, for some sort of reason, it is more ground and pound. You're right.
Alistair, some words about Alexander Volkov. He's some kind of new breed of heavyweight. He's very tall. His karate style, very unique style. Does he bring something special for you?
Definitely have the reach advantage. I think he's a strong fighter. I think he's a technical fighter. I think he's also a very intelligent fighter. So it promises all to be a very good competition.
Alistair, last 2 questions from me. You have a lot of sparrings with Jon Jones. Have you ever wobbled him or hurt him in sparrings?
I would not talk about disrespectful about Jon.
But he in top 3 the most talented fighters you ever sparred. Yes? Maybe.
Yeah, he's very good. He's very gifted. It will be a very good move for him to come up to heavyweight. I foresee a lot of excellent fights.
Alistair, last question. I talked to Frank Mir last year, and he said that his body felt beat up because he has so long career. You have endless career. When you woke up in the morning, does your body feel a little bit sore, painful, or that Jamaican genetics so crazy that you feel still amazing now?
I'm still 100%. Still 100%.
Alistair, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Big honor speak to you, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Cody Cruz with For the Win MMA.
How you doing, Alistair? Good to talk to you.
Yes, good afternoon or evening or where you may be.
I'm in Santiago de Chile, so it's evening yet. Thank you for asking, man. We could spend hours talking about all your accomplishments in combat sports. When you started this journey, could you imagine that you'd still be a top 5 contender in the biggest platform the sport has to offer at this stage of your career?
Well, I mean, when I started, I you know, you never know when you're that young, right? I never could imagine after 20 years I would still be fighting, 24 years actually. But yeah, it's been an amazing journey. I can only be thankful and happy for it.
Alistair, what would you say is your favorite moment in your career so far?
Well, I've had several different good moments. I don't know, ever since joining Team Elevation has been a great moment, right? We've had a great development in the last 2 years. Great fights, exciting fights. The K1 period was amazing, right? Winning the K1 championship, and then a couple weeks later, the Dream Championship. Earlier, the light heavyweight Grand Prix Pride was also an amazing moment. So my career having its ups and its downs, but every time coming back up and having a great moment.
Alistair, you mentioned Elevation Team. How did you feel for this fight camp? I read that you seclude yourself and your girls to get into battle mode. That's the way you put it on social media. How difficult is it for you to lock daddy up and get ready for war?
Yeah, so I don't see them for, what is it, a month or so, and I just focus on myself and I focus on the fight. Focus on training. Yeah, I have to say, getting older and seeing them grow, and it becomes more hard. It becomes more difficult. Very true.
Well, you have multiple titles to your name. How important is it for you to hold UFC gold in terms of legacy? Is this something in your mind at all, or you don't pay attention to that?
Well, a little bit, but not too much. I foremost always try to enjoy myself, and I think if you're thinking too much about the belt, you're maybe not enjoying yourself. So I don't think about it too much, but it would be nice to win the UFC belt, cement the legacy as the great of all times. But again, the focus is just on feeling good, training good, doing things I like.
Well, you said earlier that you didn't want to get into any specifics in terms of the fight that you have with Alexander Volkov, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on Volkov in terms of skill set and overall competitiveness.
Well, I definitely do not underestimate him. I think he's an excellent fighter, excellent striking. I think he's intelligent, and I will need all hands on deck to beat him Saturday.
With all the talks of this being your final run in the division, do you have a message for all the heavyweight competitors out there?
No.
Fair enough. Do you have a plan for your life after fighting? Would you still be involved in the fight game somehow?
Yes, I will definitely be involved. I intend to become a coach. I'll create 2 teams, one in Thailand and one in my native Netherlands. So I'll be between these 2 spots, Netherlands and Thailand, and a little bit USA.
Well, Alistair, it's been an honor to share a few moments with you. Thank you so much for your time. Best of luck in your fight, and congratulations for an amazing career.
Thank you, sir. Bruce.
We'll take our next set of questions from Fabricio Sosa with Clarín.
How many of these are there?
Hi, Alistair. Sorry for my bad English, from Argentina.
Nice. How are you?
Fine. After a great career like the one you have, how do you get motivated to keep going?
Well, it comes automatically because I just really like to train. I like to get in shape. I like my team. So it's automatic. I'm just doing what I like to do. So that is where the motivation comes from, right? I like it. It's my passion.
How do you analyze the evolution of MMA since you started until today?
Well, I actually started as a second-generation MMA fighter.
Yes.
In the beginning, MMA was more about the best style. Let's see what is the best style. I started the second generation, which was 2 styles, kickboxing and sambo wrestling. And I think right now we are hitting generation 5, maybe 6. Everybody's just fit. Everybody can do everything. Everybody's good standing up on the ground wrestling. Everybody's got good cardio, good conditioning. So it's further now. I think 5th or 6th generation.
Okay. What should you watch out from Volkov inside the octagon? What is the danger of Volkov?
Well, danger has a striking. I think he's a very complete fighter. I think he's a very strong fighter, very fit fighter. So yeah, we will see what he has to bring this Saturday.
In case if you win that fight, you think you could demand the title fight another next?
Yeah, so after we win, we're close to the title, but maybe we need to win one more. So we will just focus on Saturday and wait to see what will come after.
Right. What you think about the MMA of Latin America?
Latin America has some strong fighters, right? Of course, Brazil, but also Argentina has some strong fighters. So it's coming up. Great to see.
What do you know about Argentina, Alistair?
Great steak.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
That's all we have for you today, Alistair. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah.
This concludes the UFC Fight Night Overeem versus Volkov Virtual Media Day. We would like to thank everyone for joining today's event. UFC